3, 2, 1. You are listening to the Secret Handshake podcast. I'm Taylor White T. Leach, and this is
Derek.
Derek, that's your cue right there to say, and this is Derek Dutch Evan Holland on the Secret Handshake podcast. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, everybody. Children of all ages, are you excited? This is one of the greatest shows in all the world.
We did cover this, though, a couple of shows ago. We don't really have, I don't think, children watching, so we kind of got to just mark it when you say that to the adults.
Right there. We're getting everybody involved. Last time I checked, it's not just a one-way street.
Yes.
I mean, we got
100%,
grandparents out there that are
100%.
checking it out.
We have a few people checking it out, which is cool. So thank you just to all the people tuning in and listening. It's been interesting so far just to see the reception that the show's got and a lot of positive feedback. Derek, I think you even got contacted by someone you hadn't even really talked to, I think, since high school. And they said they checked out the show and were digging it. So I might have made that story up.
No, you definitely didn't. It's one of my buddies from back home that's been into the podcasting. He's been listening to everybody else's show, and he was like, you know what? Maybe I need to listen to one of my good friends' show. And I was like, yeah, how about you stop being a jerk and actually listen to my show? And he did it. But also, but on top of that, though, it feels like it's been a while since we've got to actually talk to each other. So for me, I'm excited. I feel like this has been forever because of spring training finally starting. You know, things are starting to get a little busier for us. So it's been a little bit hectic, I should say. But, dude, it feels so good that we got this rolling again.
Well, and the thing that people don't know, which you just revealed to them, is that a little secret about the Secret Handshake podcast is we don't actually talk to each other between episodes. The only time we actually communicate is the day of an episode during the actual recording. So you're right. It is great to talk to you again. It's been forever.
Just an hour before the show starts. Like, hey, how you been? Here's our guest for today. All right, here we go.
So we do have a guest today, and he's sitting right next to me if you couldn't tell. Still here.
I can't tell.
Yeah, so we got Rami Rassas on the show today. Rami is somewhat of a jack of all trades. I'm going to let him talk about himself more than I talk about him, but
which is not hard for me to do.
Yeah, he's talented in that way, but he's talented in a lot of different ways. We both, Derek, Rami, from just living out in Dallas, but you don't know everything about Rami. So,
well, let me ask this though, because he can do everything. Can you whistle with the fingers in your mouth? Nope, that doesn't count. So you can't do everything. You can't do everything.
Okay, so I cannot. I that's one of the things that frustrates me. I cannot do. When you do the, is this your time?
I can do that.
Yes.
Okay, so I could whistle with, but I can't. Not like you want me to.
Hum whistle.
See, already, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I've disappointed you. I can't whistle with fingers in my mouth.
Definitely just happened.
It's got to be your fingers. Just for the record, it is your fingers that are in your mouth. Nobody else. I just want to make sure we got that one right. For those that are listening,
very true.
He is a very talented man. He's the next Chef Boyardee.
But I thought Chef Boyardee was next to me.
Well, no, I'm Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, there we go.
That's my go-to line whenever I talk about how awesome of a chef I am. But we do have a real chef here. Rami, he's a chef in real life, and he was also a chef on the MasterChef TV show. He was a contestant, so I probably better say it. Chef contestant. Chef-testant is probably the best way to describe that.
Not gonna lie, that's pretty freaking cool, though. That's awesome. You can literally just, let me actually, let's put it this way, because obviously, T just put you out there. You did the competing and stuff. Can you literally watch like Food Network and be like, I'm going to make that? And then you just go and do it yourself?
Yeah. So, I was first opened up to food, like, obviously you grow up, you eat food with your family all the time and, sit around the table. But watching TV and seeing it, what I started wanting to do was actually taste what I saw on TV. Yeah. How many times do you watch something, cooking show and think, I wish I knew what it tasted like. So what I would try and do is I would take what I saw on TV and experiment in the kitchen. I can't tell you how many times I made horrible dishes just because, just to try and figure out how it was they were doing what was on TV.
Right. It's that experimental aspect of it. Like I do that all the time. Sometimes it turns out great. Sometimes it turns out terrible, but you're like a veteran in the kitchen. Like you should definitely check Rami's Instagram out. Like I know you follow him on Instagram, Derek, but if you follow Rami, which his Instagram is Ram23, and that's RAM, the number 2, and then the number 3 spelled out THR33.
But everybody always asks
me. Is it
me,
EE or 33?
It's THREE. And everybody always asks me, I mean, what does that mean? Every name has to have meaning, right?
Right.
So Ram is just, a lot of my friends call me Ram. 2 is because Rami Rassas, that's 2 R's. Okay. 3, my favorite number is 23. It's also my birthday, so Ram23.
Yep, there we go. Which I thought it's also playing off of, isn't it something WWE related as well?
Well, I mean, if I was a wrestler, I might be the Ram.
Got you.
Rami the Ram.
I thought there was some kind of...
So what's your finishing move then, Ram?
I'm just going to... I mean, probably... that's a good one. I mean, if I had to think of it, it would probably be I'd call it something like the mixer, and I almost like I had a pair of whisks and I'm just whisking you, like almost kind of like the claw.
You're just giving them a noogie?
Like you just... Yeah, something like that.
Just head up there and do it that way.
Yeah, just, I put my hand right in your belly and I'm just...
There we go. That's great. That's
like I got some whipping cream that I'm trying to turn into some heavy whipping cream that I'm trying to turn into whipping cream. Anybody who's a chef would know that. Know that joke.
Okay. That just really escalated quickly. From somebody's stomach to now we got whipping cream.
Yes, we do. So, but before we are going to talk wrestling. We are going to talk WWE because Rami and Derek are diehard WWE fans. I enjoy it, but I'm more of I've participated in different ways.
Lifestyle for me.
Correct.
Hey, I agree 100%. You gotta be born into it. It's
I always tell people, I mean, if I could be anything, I would give up everything right now. I would give up everything to start over in life and try and be a WWE superstar. 100%. No question in my mind.
See, it's one of those things too. You can't bring an outsider like T into it.
Okay.
Like, here, you're now
right.
Welcome to the WWE.
Noted.
It's going to take a little bit of time. All right.
Noted.
You can't just jump right in.
Okay.
No.
All right.
The water's deep, bro. You didn't just learn how to swim by just jumping in.
Well, it's okay because I bring my own unique spin to the world of WWE and my involvement in it, my participation with you measly fans.
I do feel like Derek and I could be a tag team and you could be our manager.
Yes,
you could be our valet. You could be the valet.
I'm good with that.
You could be the guy on the mic.
I'm
You're the guy that's on the mic for us.
I'm definitely good with that concept.
He actually is the guy on the mic right now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So, okay, before we get into that, let's go back to the initial topic, MasterChef TV show. If you haven't seen it, Rami, tell people what it is. Tell them what season you were on. Give us the breakdown of like your experience on the show.
So basically, MasterChef is about people like you and me. I was not culinary trained. But I grew up in the restaurant business and I always experiment with food in the kitchen and at home. But what it does is it takes people like you and me and gives them the opportunity to become a master chef. So you have people there that are, car salesmen. You have people there that are housewives. You got people there that are students. You have every type of person that's there that's not a professional chef that, loves food, and they're giving them the opportunity to take that to the next level. So it's different than Top Chef, where Top Chef, you're taking people that are professional.
Legit chefs.
Exactly. Culinary chefs, and they're competing against each other. This is an opportunity.
So I could go on the show technically like as a regular person that just likes to cook food or maybe is good at cooking food.
Absolutely. I'll tell you this. I'll give you one of the secrets here. You could probably make it on the show without ever actually having cooked a dish. No joke.
Wow.
Because and that's one of the things, the process of getting on a reality show like that, where they don't ever, up until you get on the show, they never once give you a kitchen and say cook in front of.
So how did you show them pictures of your food, or how did you actually get selected to be on the show? What was the process?
So the first process was
can you talk about it technically?
Oh, well, I mean, the process, I mean, everybody's knows about the process, right? I mean, Joel Embiid knows about the process. I'm just telling you what everybody already knows, right? Okay. So you go to open casting call and they actually tell you to bring your dish there to the open casting call. So think about this. So I could have just brought any random dish and plated it in front of them, and they don't know how it got on that plate.
Right.
So what I did is, I looked up where it was and I found myself, because it was in Austin. Obviously I live in Dallas. I found a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
A place where I could get up early and I could actually make my food in the kitchen. I got up early. I know exactly what I made, a chicken Giuseppe. So I wanted something that would hold over well.
Chicken Giuseppe.
Yeah. It would hold over well. It has mushrooms, green onions, a little bit of Parmesan, in a marsala sauce with a mix of my homemade marinara. Okay. And I got there early. I prepared the dish in the hotel and I put it in the, little, whatever they call those bags that keep.
Oh, like the pizza bags almost, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Keep it warm.
Wait. Hold on. For the guys like me, you said pizza bag. Is that right?
That's what I said.
Yeah. Just, a little like,
Okay. So what?
Those contain.
What is it? Sorry.
It helps keep whatever.
There's like a slight delay when we're talking, and I don't think for the fans that are listening,
they can't hear it.
Notice,
and I can't hear it either. It just sounds like you're not paying attention.
I am paying attention, you jerk.
That's
but
funny.
I'm just saying, I don't know what a pizza bag. Like I've never heard bag in a cooking term.
After
you said it.
All right, just time out real quick, Derek. Let's just get. I feel like we got to do this every episode where we get kind of basic with some of these concepts. Okay.
I'll go slow and dangerous. It still serve a purpose.
The thing is, a pizza bag is when you order pizza. You've ordered pizza before, right? Definitely
Correct.
ordered pizza.
Yeah.
How does it show up? The guy pulls it out of a pizza bag that keeps it warm and keeps it hot. Let's go ahead and let's pay attention to the show today. Let's try to make this a good episode.
You got me.
Okay, so now we know what a pizza bag is. Rami,
Carry
continue.
on. Sorry.
So I put my dish that I made at the little bed and breakfast. I put it in this pizza bag like container, and then I go there pretty early, and there's already a line, but the line's not too long. I'm probably about maybe 50, 60 people in.
Okay.
And then the line's starting to form behind me. And when they let you in 20 at a time. Okay. 20 at a time. There's tables spread out, and they tell you to take out your dish, whatever it is you made, and you plate it. And then they're going to come around and they're going to talk to you. They're not even necessarily going to taste the food. They'll talk to you about the food. They're not going to taste it. What they're really looking for is personality.
Right.
So from those 20 people, they took 5 of us and told the rest to leave. And they kept 5 of us there after they basically walked around, looked at our dishes, the way they were presented.
Didn't even taste it?
Didn't even taste it. I mean, would they want to taste it? Who knows how long it's been sitting there, right?
Sure. But it's weird because it's a cooking show. So you just would think that they would taste it before they just start kicking people out.
So, and then they break
It's all about the presentation.
Presentation and personality. The two P's.
Pay attention. Hey.
All right.
2 P's.
Seriously, pay attention. But you guys got me.
And then from that point, they take you 5 people and they put you in a room with executive producers. And now it has nothing to do with the food. And they're just asking you about you. Okay. And again, what you have to do is you have to stand out. You have from these other 5 people. So now I'm already gone from 20 to 5. And now from 5, they said, okay, well, 3 of you can leave. We just want you 2.
Okay.
So I was one of the 2 that stayed. I'm sorry. That stayed and the others left. And they said, all right, well, we need you to stay another day. And we want you to come up to the W and do an on-camera interview for the producers back in LA. And so I stayed at the W an extra day in Austin. And the next day they filmed the on-camera interview. And then from that point, the next process was send us a video of you cooking at home.
Gotcha.
Okay. So again, anybody could sit there, and I'm not trying to downplay.
Well, you could technically fake it though. Like if I made it through that, they don't know. Like, so let's just say I showed up to that. Technically, I could have shown up with a dish that my really good chef friend prepared and pass it off as mine, and then do the exact same thing with the video at home. I mean, technically the way I film it and edit it, I could have my buddy right there. That's a great chef doing everything, but let's just film me stirring this real quick. Let's just film me, putting this sauce on top of this, whatever.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
But the only thing I'd say about that though is if you do that, let's say you did get in, let's say he did cook it or whatever, you're kind of screwed anyway when it comes to if they put you on. Like,
oh yeah,
well, you won.
Definitely.
Now you have to actually cook it. Hold on, I need to bring my buddy in because that was just me being sweet.
Well, you wouldn't say that.
Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing about MasterChef that's different from Top Chef, MasterChef is more like American Idol in the sense that they start with 100 contestants. So they need the good chefs, but they also need the bad chefs, the bad singers, right? Because it's all about entertainment. So they will put people on there that they know are bad chefs or cooks for, TV purposes, right? Gotcha. That's the difference between Top Chef and MasterChef. It's American Idol for food.
Okay.
Like the first couple episodes, maybe.
Okay.
It's still freaking awesome, though.
No, it is. It is awesome. But so you get to the second round, you stay an extra day to go film at the W, and then we
upload the video. So I had never cooked with scallops, and I'm sitting here thinking, what can I do? And I know Gordon Ramsay. I always watch Hell's Kitchen.
Somebody's saying no right now or help. I can't remember.
I don't have any fan. I don't have a fan here. The cat's not a fan.
Mila's making some noise. It's okay.
As soon as you said scallops, the cat was not.
Yeah.
No. No scallops.
It's okay. I'm sure we'll hear from Bruce and Wrigley here in a little bit.
Honestly, you probably will.
But hey,
messing around.
That's part of the podcast, man. That's what I think, that there's people that come just for those moments.
Makes this unique, bro. It's one of a kind. Animals.
Authentic.
Hey, it's pet friendly. It's a pet friendly podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's.
But the worst part is we continue to interrupt him every time he talks to tell us something that's going on.
Well, it's funny y'all bring up pets because I've never been a dog person.
Oh, but you've been dog sitting recently.
Yes. So.
Hey, neither is the cat. In case you didn't know it. No. He said it too. It's in it.
But I'll tell you this. So I would dog sit a dog or two. I mean, a dog for a day or two here and there. But, and I started to think, man, these, nice little cute, lovable animals. And then the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I sat a dog for 5 days. And I want to say that was a bad experience, but, I work a lot and I started to resent the dog when I got home from work because I'd come home from like a 10-hour day and I'd come home from work and I had to feed it. I had to let it out and it wanted to play. And I started to resent the dog for not having a job.
It's a major responsibility.
No, but I felt like what have you been doing all day? What have you been doing all day?
And that's why the cats rock, because you really don't have to deal with that.
We're not having a cat dog debate right now.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
I've got two beautiful, sweet dogs.
And I've owned dogs myself. My mom takes care of my English bulldog now. Like once I started, traveling a lot, she just volunteered to take him because she loved them and didn't want to see them, I was gonna have to sell them or someone like I knew was going to have to take care of them or give them up for adoption, kind of thing. So I love dogs too, but I'm just saying in terms of like with cats, what Rami's describing, you don't actually have to deal with that for the most part. I mean, you want to give them attention, but they're pretty self-service at the end of the day. You leave them out some food and a litter box and they're pretty much good to go. He's talking about just like the responsibilities.
Well, I just felt like the dog could have contributed more to the relationship.
And I agree. Honestly, you
can go so many ways with that. Like, man, I feel like I was dating that dog. I wish it could have just really, contributed a little bit more around the house.
AstroTurf on the balcony so I wouldn't have to take it down and it still wouldn't go there, which is, to its credit, it was trained, right?
Let me pick up that Skyrise. Let me pick up that Skyrise condo off the ground real quick. That mention.
I said balcony. I didn't say.
Oh, sorry.
I said balcony. I didn't say 15 stories uptown next to Nomar Mazara.
That's okay. Oh, wow. That one just flew right past me. Hold on. I need to go grab that one. It's back here.
Shout out Nomar.
And he's high rise too.
Yeah, they actually are really neighbors.
He's my neighbor.
They actually are. Well, and we'll get into that.
Nice.
Okay.
We got to continue this.
Let me tell you a story about Nomar. I love Nomar. So Nomar walks into my apartment like Kramer from Seinfeld. No joke.
That's freaking hilarious.
And one time, it was a Sunday afternoon. What was I doing? I was cooking, but my mom was there. So Nomar walks in and my mom sees this, literally my mom's standing there in the kitchen by the door and Nomar walks in. Doesn't knock, just walks in, which is okay with me, right? And she sees this.
Hey, hold on. That's kind of what Kramer does. He doesn't knock.
Exactly.
This is my turn to get back at you guys for getting me. So yeah, Kramer doesn't knock. You're right. He just slides right in.
Exactly.
So I hope that Nomar slid right in.
This has nothing to do with me.
He slid right in. My mom sees this. How tall is Nomar? 6'5"?
Nomar's tall. He's like 6'4" at least.
Yeah.
6'4" Dominican guy. And, Nomar's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, Nomar, this is my mother. And I introduce him and he's like, yeah, I'm going to grab brunch. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll hit you up later. But, I'm not going to introduce him as, hey, mom, this is Nomar. He plays for the Rangers, right? So as soon as he walks out, I tell my mom, I said, yeah, that's my neighbor. He plays for the Texas Rangers. My mom knows nothing about baseball. But my mom's like, oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me? I want to take a picture with him. Yeah. I said, really? She's like, yes, of course. So I opened the door and I look out. He's still by the elevator. I said, Nomar, I told my mom you play for the Rangers. She wants to take a picture. He's like, Joey plays for the Rangers too. And Joey Gallo was with him. So they both come and my mom takes pictures with them. And obviously my mom just wants to, show off to all her friends. And she posted on Facebook, my son lives next to 2 players for the Texas Rangers, yada, yada, yada. So
his mom is hilarious. His mom is awesome.
The thing is, she's not showing off. She's proud. That's a proud mom.
Oh, yes.
She's definitely proud. And that's what she does. Like, so we're getting a little sidetracked, but it's okay. So any event like Rami's birthday, Rami has a ton of people that show up for his birthday every year. He puts together these different events and different things for people to get behind him. But his mom is always at every single one of those events. And she takes more photos than the hired photographer that is at the event or the party. And it's like a competition for her. She's trying to get a better photo on her cell phone than like the party photographer. But every moment she's documenting every moment. And it's like hilarious because Rami's always commenting. He's like taking Instagram stories of her, doing the photography.
You see the guy with this huge professional camera at the wedding and he's like trying to get around somebody. I look and it's my mom taking pictures on Snapchat with her phone.
Right.
And my mom is convinced that the Snapchat.
Wait, your mom's on Snapchat?
Listen, my mom's Snapchat game is fire. Okay. So she's convinced
that's awesome.
She's convinced that the Snapchat camera is better than any other camera.
Oh, wow.
So what she does is she'll take all the pictures on Snapchat and then upload them to Facebook.
So she takes them, downloads them from Snapchat, and that's instead of just using the built-in camera of the iPhone. Or I'm assuming she has an iPhone. Yeah. Okay.
So my mom, no camera is better than the Snapchat camera.
That's hilarious. So Derek, are you distracted right now by Bruce or is that Wrigley?
No, this is Wrigley that's right here beside me. He's just hanging out. Bruce is drinking water, but we got to get back to his story. We got to let him finish with what's going on.
He's about to do his on-camera interview at the W.
Okay, so I did that, and then the next thing they do is they ask me to do the cooking in the kitchen, 10-minute video at home. So I was like, what am I going to impress them with? Gordon Ramsay, if you watch any of his shows, he's big on scallops. These scallops are horrible. The scallops are terrible. The scallops are rubbish.
Yeah.
He takes them, throws them in their face. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to work with scallops. I've never in my life cooked with scallops, but I was convinced that I was going to impress Gordon Ramsay with my scallops, right? And foreshadowing, this is going to come back full circle. Okay. So on my 10-minute video, I decided I'm going to, in my kitchen, I use my mom's kitchen because she had a bigger kitchen. So I'm going to cook scallops for my 10-minute video and I'm going to send it to them. So I did that. For whatever reason, they had us upload it on Vimeo?
Yes, Vimeo. Vimeo, compared to YouTube, what it does do is has the ability to have way higher quality videos than YouTube.
That's probably why they had us do it on that. So I sent it to them, and then a few weeks later, I get another letter from them, or a call, email, and they're like, okay, well, we want you to come out to LA to do some more testing. I'm like, okay, well, like cooking? Like, no. We want you to come out, do some psychiatric tests, some blood tests, some drug tests, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool. So they fly me out to Culver City.
Okay. Shout out Culver.
Okay. So they fly me out there and, we stay in the hotel. And basically what we're doing is we're taking psychiatric tests, blood tests, and I think urine tests. Obviously, they want to make sure that you're not on drugs, you're healthy, and you're not crazy.
Right. They don't want you to like lose your mind on the show.
But if you watch the Bachelor, I mean, some of these.
Well, and maybe they actually kind of want that a little bit, though. Maybe they're actually looking for like a little crazy instead of like, most people would think like, okay, you're doing a psychiatric test because you don't want a crazy person. But on a reality show, I think you kind of do want a little bit of a crazy person. So maybe that's actually what they are looking for.
Maybe just normal crazy, but not clinically crazy.
Right, not clinically crazy. Right.
Okay. So from
They're
there,
gonna have a knife. They don't want you to be too crazy.
So I fly back to Dallas, and probably about a month goes by, and maybe not that long, maybe a couple weeks goes by, and I finally hear from them, and they're like, okay, well, this is the last part of the process. We're actually going to send out one of the executive producers to come and kind of spend the day with you and see how you live, how your life is, around the city. I said, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, they're going to come. They want to go see where you work. They want to go see your family. They want to see what you do in a normal day. I said, okay, that's cool. So they come out and they spend the whole day with me. First thing we do is they come to the dealership that I managed at the time, and they come and they film me doing my thing. I had one of my friends play a customer, and they filmed me there. And then from there, we went to my apartment right by Victory Park. and they filmed me just, my normal life. I had my family there, my mom, my sister, my niece. And then I actually had at the time, I had the belt thing with the Mavericks. And I even, I gave a call to Brendan Haywood, and he came out, and we even shot some footage with Brendan Haywood right outside the American Airlines Center.
Did you catch that name, Derek?
No, I wasn't catching that. If you guys look over your left and right shoulders, you have a strange visitor. No, it was perfect because as you were talking, yes, you dropped a name, but then on top of that, the cat's literally looking straight at the camera. And I was like, oh my God.
Joining the podcast. Special guest.
So the other thing after that part, what they wanted us to do was, he's like, okay, so, and at the time, I was kind of a man about town. I'd go out a lot. I don't do that anymore, obviously, right? And they're like, okay, well, we want to get you in, in an environment where, it's what you do at night, I said, it's 3:00 on a Thursday afternoon. It's like, well, call some of your friends. I literally went through my phone, calling guys, calling girls. Everybody's working. Nobody's going to come.
Right.
I found 2 people.
I didn't get a phone call. Yeah,
I
get a phone
call? But I didn't. But I will give him the benefit that I didn't know him at that time.
He didn't know me back then. Yeah. So
you also didn't invite him to the World Series. So
I know I was too busy inviting 50 other 1,000 people.
You did take me to WrestleMania, so
yes, I did. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay.
I know we got to stay on track here. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's too. The thing is, you're teeing us up. It's so perfect. Like, this is an easy connection with us right now. We're having too much fun. But we got to keep it. We got to keep it real, and we got to let you finish your story because this is actually really impressive stuff.
Real.
Okay, so I was able to get 2 friends to say yes. 2 girlfriends who happen to be Asian, and the only reason I say that is because they wanted to recreate a club scene.
Okay.
So we actually went to Spoozy's at the time.
Oh, nice.
And we're sitting at the bar, and I got 2 Asian girls around me, and I'm supposed to be laughing and having a good time. Like that's normally what I do on a Thursday afternoon.
So weird.
Yeah. But so that's one of the things they did. And then after that, they said, okay, well, let's go back to your place, and we're going to do one last shot with you and your family. And we want you to cook something and just get you guys
crazy porno.
Hey, you said it.
Get you guys having dinner, right? So we go up there and I cook and we have dinner, and they get this all on footage. And then right when we're wrapping up for the day, he says, okay, Rami, there's one more thing I need you to do. He's like, open this envelope.
What?
Gives me the envelope, and it says, congratulations, you made the show, MasterChef.
That's just a hilarious thing to say.
And I kid you not, they're following me with cameras all day. And in my head, I'm like, if I'm not on the show yet, why are they doing this? But you know what? This is part of their process. They want to record this so they can go back and show it to the other producers who are going to make the decision. Because I always wondered on these reality shows, how do they get that moment when you're just finding out, right?
Right.
And I found out that it's actually, I had no idea.
You were actually filming your first scenes is what you were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got me, and I was surprised. And then from that point on, it was.
So what was your reaction though? What was like? Did you scream like a happy schoolgirl? What was the actual?
Honestly, it took me a minute. I was kind of in shock, and then I took the marinara that I had and I poured it all over my. No.
God.
honestly, I was at that time. I was, my family was there. I was more happy for them than it. It sounds cliche and stupid, but why? The things that you do at the end of the day, I do it because other people like my mom, my sister.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said earlier, they're proud, right?
You represent something.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So they were
representing. You're representing not only the city, all that stuff. You're representing your family, and like to them, that's like a key moment. Like you accomplish something, and it's just a thrill. Like the family's excited. You guys are living in that moment. Like that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, it was surreal because I had no idea, but at that moment I saw how happy they were, and I was happy, and I think it just ended up being just a great moment for all of us. And I'm glad. I should ask for that footage. I don't have that footage.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool thing to have.
100%. That is because think about it. That's something that's going to last forever. Like that's a memory, bro. You're with your family celebrating. You got to get on the show. You're like, that's to me, that's above and beyond everything else. Like that's a great moment that you're enjoying with your family, and it's caught on tape. Like not many times do you get to do that though. And I don't know why you're laughing at me, but it's true.
I was just gonna say honestly,
caught on tape.
I know I was laughing because I wasn't even laughing. I just had a jovial smile is all I had. Okay. But I feel like we need to get that footage more for you than we need to get it for Rami, because you almost just gave one of the most beautiful speeches I've ever heard, like right now in your reaction to hearing his story.
But it's like, if I look at back at, and I'm saying it because you brought it up, is no, if I could have a time where I was actually celebrating with my parents after Game 4 of the World Series with the Rangers, like that's something that's fucking memorable. Like you got lucky somebody was there to capture that, is what I'm saying.
Listen,
like, that could have been something completely silent. Nobody sees it, anything.
I mean, because why do we do what we do? I mean, I honestly, I don't do stuff for myself. I mean, I do things because it, brings joy to other people.
Right. Right. Well, it's like even really just in general, it's kind of like there's the why, how, and the what. And the why you do what you do is way more important than what you do.
Absolutely.
So,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's awesome.
No, it is really cool. And I wasn't taken
though.
Away from it, Derek. I was just trying to give you a hard time, and you had to turn it into a really serious moment. And I feel like I just got grounded by my parents. So thanks.
Yeah, you did. You're going to be scolded after this show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
But I do want to say something real quick, because you keep grabbing this nice, lovely glass to your right. So, and obviously I have my sponsor right here with LaCroix.
Or as Post Malone says, LeCroix.
LeCroix, because there's an L-E in there, not an L-A, I guess. So what kind of wine are you two sipping on? It's actually an L-A.
Man, I don't know what type it is. It's a red wine.
Pretty smooth.
I do know what type it is, but I just can't remember right now. And the bottle is in the kitchen. And
why don't you ask the cat to go get it?
Yeah, that would be great. But it's a red wine. I believe it's a blend. I don't think it's.
Whoa! You didn't tell me. I don't drink blends.
I might be wrong. I literally might be wrong, and I apologize if it's a blend and you don't drink blends. But if it is, that's what's happening.
Well, the wine is like a metaphor for us. We're a blend.
Okay.
Of three different personalities that are
tying it back to the podcast. Tying it back to the podcast.
Check, please.
Look at that.
Got you. Try to tell him how it is. Got you. Okay, let me ask you this, because I will say on my side, I don't know if it was doing it to you. It was kind of choppy, so I couldn't really tell what you were saying.
We weren't.
Is it like
we weren't talking to you? That's why.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk to this wall behind me some more, because that's about what this feels like.
No, so
is this a dry wine? Is this a fruity wine? I mean, I know it's a red wine.
Dude, you are asking way too many wine questions right now. I'm just sipping on it. That's all I can tell you.
I'll give you.
And that's
little,
okay. It's for the sponsors out there. You want to get this endorsement? Okay. You better give them a shout out. This wine is cool. This is a sophisticated, classy, awesome fucking wine. That's how you should be saying it.
There we go.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've learned when you're posting food, and the same can apply to wine. You can make it whatever you want to make it. They can't taste it.
Right.
So you could have just said it was a dry, smooth, fruity wine, And nobody would have known if it was wrong. Just like nobody knows if the food that I put on my Instagram is bad or good. It just looks great. It just
looks amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's all about perception at the end of the day. Okay. So I just want to finish this topic on MasterChef. We know how you made the show, but in terms of being on the show, what was that like? Did being on the show kind of like ruin reality TV for you?
So I'm not one of those people that's bitter about reality TV. I loved my experience. I loved it a lot. I will not say anything bad about it. The one thing that I was going to say earlier is, I played up my inspiration for cooking is my family and my mom and my grandmother. And they take so much footage of you that they can literally, and everything that you saw on there was me. But they there's
splice it together, right?
Yeah, there's a fun, outgoing Rami that, everybody loves. And there's a humble, family guy Rami. And they focused on one, not the other. So you don't see any part of that on the show. But I love the show because, that was a time when they did take your phone away from you. We were not allowed to communicate with anybody from the outside world. And you start with 100 contestants. And I got to meet people that I would not normally hang out with.
Right.
It kind of takes you back to the original form of socializing, not the social media, just socializing. So the best time of each day was after we would shoot, we would go back to the hotel and they would give us maybe about 30, 45 minutes to just sit there and converse in the bar. And, I like some of the closest people I became friends with was like this, 40-year-old cowboy from Georgia. One of the ladies who's, a mother of 4 from Frisco.
Is that his like Instagram profile bio? 40-year-old cowboy from Georgia.
I met Luca, who Luca was on the season with me. Luca won MasterChef season 4.
Yeah.
I was on MasterChef season 3. I actually made it past him that season. And just funny how the world works. They brought him back the next season and he won the whole show. He lived in New York, then moved to Houston. Now he's a good friend of mine here in Dallas. He lives in Dallas.
Yeah. So, which I've actually met Luca because so quick little side story, and Derek, get ready to catch this name because it's coming in hot. Get that glove ready. There we go. 2 hands. So, I met Luca at Sean Marion's 40th birthday party because I was helping Sean out a little bit with the party. And I think we might have, there goes. You're back.
We're
Derek,
there.
we lost you for a second.
Sorry, the hamster stopped running on the wheel in there, so I had to get him going again.
I thought it was just because I thought it was the name we just dropped made like the connection kind of.
It did. It crashed the server.
No, but I was saying Luca though. We'll test it again. I was saying Luca. The way I met him was in Dallas at Sean Marion's 40th birthday party, which Sean's a good friend of mine. Yep. I see you looking for it. I see you catch it. It's coming.
It was about to come down.
It's coming.
No, I think I missed it. It came down real quick. It was a big name though.
Yeah. So he's a good friend of mine, but his 40th birthday, I ended up helping out with a good bit of it, helping put it together. And one of the details we were looking for was a caterer. So actually the first person that I hit up to cater the party was Rami because I didn't actually know.
Well, but Sean's been to one of my events where I catered a MasterChef premiere party, and he came out there. Him and Darren Woodson.
Boom.
Hey, that's a good one, by the way.
Yeah. So both of them came out. So he knew that I had some knowledge about food.
Sure, but I mean, I hit you up to chef it up because, like, listen, Rami. If you, like we said, if you're on his Instagram or if you ever just hang out with him and you're at his place and you watch him cook, you're guaranteed to want to eat his food and you will talk about it. It's a thing. Like so he was the first person I called because I just thought that he could actually cater. He could be the chef for his party. And then he actually introduced Luca into the equation. And that's how I got to meet Luca. Luca cooked some phenomenal vegan options at the party, which was great because they were catering to all people, but he killed it. Everyone was super happy, but continue.
Well, so because one of the things Luca does his, so he took the fame that he got from the show and he turned it into private dining experiences,
right?
Dinners with Luca. So I thought, I've personally never cooked for 200 people. So, I thought Luca would be perfect for it. He just moved to town, so it was a great opportunity. I thought for him, and he did great with it. I know everybody loved the food. But my experience on the show, I met people like him. I met people like this one of the contestants from Maryland. She's a life coach. And, I was telling her about, because there's a lot of downtime, and I was telling her about some of my insecurities because I have a degree in theater and acting. I tried acting. And if I ever showed you some of the things that I did when I graduated college, as far as acting, you would laugh because I was such a bad actor, but I had some insecurities about being in front of people. And she told me this thing, like, she said, she was a life coach. So she said, you should never, ever, doubt yourself whenever you walk into a room, because you don't know, your expectations of yourself are a lot lower than what people see when you walk into a room. And she said, I'm going to do one thing for you. There's 100 contestants here, and they have their friends and family. I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask 5 people who don't know you what they think of you when they see you walk into a room.
Oh, wow.
And she did that, and she went around and she came back with positive words. And she said, so when you're walking into those auditions and the people see you, this is what they think of you. So that you're already a step ahead of everybody else.
That's really cool. I've never heard that put like that before, actually. That's an interesting thing to think about. What do people think about you when you walk into the room? Because
like strangers, people you haven't talked to.
Without even saying anything, like, you can obviously make an impression, right? So that's actually a pretty cool thing that she did to kind of really, it was definitely used to boost your confidence at the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, it could have been just a tool that she uses, but I started to think about it, and that was really honestly the first time a light bulb came into my head, because I started to think, if I'm starting like this, if I walk into a room confident and they think I'm confident, then why not just continue to be that person, right?
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's cool. I like that. So
it's kind of how but to me, I think that's how you should carry yourself anyway. I mean, I know you were saying, like, obviously people are insecure about that kind of thing, but at the same time, you may be insecure, but how you look on the outside is what people see. So you may feel insecure, but you walk around with that confidence and that swagger. It's a game changer when you get to go show up in the kitchen or wherever it is for that situation to cook. That I think people look more at that. They don't notice those kind of things. Yeah. Well, I mean, the cooking part, that's the easy part. It was when I was going on these auditions for, my acting career. Right. That's when I struggled because me right now, if I had my mind now that I did back then, I'd probably gotten a lot more opportunities. It's just, I used to care too much about what people I didn't know thought of me. Right. And now I don't. Now I'm just going to be me. And I know I'm a good person, right? But if I embarrass myself just by being myself, just because I did a bad audition, I walk out of that door, they're going to forget about me a minute later. Right. And it's really about, if you're just being you, you're going to attract the people in your life that like you for you being you. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with and actually make an effort to actually care about. So I think that's a great strategy that you take in that regard. But who's to say though now, is it still too late? Like who's to say you can't go do any of that stuff now? Well, the thing is, I think I've settled on what my passion is, and my passion is food. I like food and I like to entertain. That's why, I do a lot of dinner parties. The one thing that I know brings people together in this world where I get my news on Twitter because I don't have the time to read an article. Right. The one thing that brings people together to socialize is food. Yep. I would say that's definitely a fact. Yeah. Well, you got to eat. Everybody's got to eat. And when you really think about it, food, when you go out to dinner, you go out to lunch, it's, breakfast, brunch, whatever you do with another person or a group of people, it's really a social experience. I mean, yes, you're there because you're wanting to eat food and enjoy the food, but food is probably one of the most, social things that happens for anybody on any given day, whether it be a weekday or a weekend. And I don't know. That's just kind of an interesting part about food. So people always, I'll tell you what, if you want to get people to slide into your DM, just post delicious food. Okay. Because I get people, I'm not kidding, that slide into my DM all the time. And I really tell them, hey, just
when I say my door is open, my door is open. But what happens is certain people come and they'll come and I'll end up with a living room of 10 people. Half of them don't know each other. But what happens is when I put that food on the table, they sit there and they talk and they get to know each other. And, they end up becoming friends, that's what food does. And I actually told them the other day, I said, one of the girls, I said, she was talking about how much, she, how good friends. I said, listen, you wouldn't, and I was being real with her. I said, you wouldn't be here if you didn't come for my food. I said, we're friends now, but the very first time you came over here, I actually hit on her. I hit on her and we were going to go out and then she canceled on me and I never talked to her again. But I told her that, and then she was sliding into my deal about the food. And I said, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my food. And that's the honest truth. And she acknowledged, she's like, yeah, your food brought me here. And now we're friends. And now she brings her friends over and we just, that's what food did is it brought people
created
together.
Opportunity, right? To meet new people.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the thing is it's similar to music, like food, music. I think in that same regard, they kind of bring people together. A lot of people say music is like the universal language, but I like when it comes to just breaking, language barriers, but at the same time, food is the same way. It's almost a universal language in itself because everybody, whether you speak the same, language or not, you can both sit there, put some food in your mouth and like have that expression on your face. Like, man, that's some good food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so what I try and do is I try and combine what I like to do. I like to entertain and I like to cook. So I put those two together. In fact, one of the projects that I'm working on is basically I want to do a cooking show where it's called Rami Raw. Rami. That was my nickname in high school. Rami. Yeah.
Oh,
anyways.
Raw.
Get it?
Raw.
Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah.
I thought it was
maybe
no, never mind. We won't even go there.
Well, maybe we do it on Monday. Call it Monday Night Raw Me.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey.
Well, why don't you ever think of, why don't you take like a YouTube channel and do something like that? That way you can have technically your own channel doing the cooking and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm working on, a YouTube cooking show where I have guests like for example, you could come by and it would be almost kind of like a food podcast.
And I think what he meant to say was we could come by. Derek,
yes, absolutely.
Is really what he meant to say there. And I totally
No, I don't think so. I think I heard him correctly. He definitely just said you. There was no both of you. It was just you. And he even pointed to the screen too.
Yeah. You.
He was literally like, you can come.
Yes. All right.
But it would be an environment where, I would cook and my friends, because all my friends are characters. You're a character. I have a lot of people that, are entertaining people and it'd be raw footage. I'm cooking. If I set the kitchen on fire, I set the kitchen on fire. If I cook something, I put it on your plate and it's disgusting, then, hey, it is what it is. This is raw, right? But it's people hanging out. It's people being entertaining and eating good food.
So is it going to be like the intro to the show? You're watching Raw Me with Rami. Like,
I mean, it's a working title. It's a working title.
No,
but
I like the title. I'm just thinking more about the intro.
Hey. Well, I feel like this is there's a lot of. Hey, what do we got
Wrigley,
there?
what's going on? Say hello.
He wanted to come make an appearance because Bruce is bothering the crap out of him right now. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Wrigley has one of the most intense looks when he looks at you and stares at you, like he's doing right now at the camera. Yeah.
Staring at the camera.
Yeah. We'll definitely cut to him in that moment. Yeah. He's got intensity in his eyes. But
yeah, with the YouTube thing though, I think you should even do like your own kind of, obviously cooking with you and then do like a challenge, like see if somebody can take you on and see if their meal's better than yours. And so what if it is, or more like it's not, but that's the kind of thing, like have fun with that. Like something that like, that's how me and T started, was the way we click, we have fun and goof off all the time, that, this was something we wanted to do, that we knew that we could actually make something pretty entertaining. We feel like with it, you could do the same thing with your food and the YouTube channel. Just make it entertaining, like have some fun with it. Like you said, burn a house down. Screw it. Who cares?
Well, and see,
you've already been kind of shooting some stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like
and
shooting some episodes.
To take it back to MasterChef, one of the things that I was disappointed about the show was, after I was eliminated, unfortunately, I did not win. For those that don't know, I could not watch a show again because it didn't feel authentic to me because I saw everything that happened behind the scenes. That's why when I do something, I want it to be raw. I want it to be authentic. I want you to actually see what's real.
Derek, you really like that when he said raw right now, didn't you?
I mean, this whole episode's become just straight up perverted the entire time.
No,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Where is your head at, sir? I don't like where your head's at.
It's on my shoulders.
Oh, great answer. Great answer. It's a great joke. I'll make sure to add in a sound effect right there that lets people know that was a joke.
That was a dad joke. Wah, wah,
yeah, exactly. No, okay. No, this is good. This is really great conversation so far. I want to pivot a little bit if that's okay. And I'm sure you got it.
Because I was thinking of something too.
Okay. Do your thing.
It sucks because I'm gone, obviously, in spring training, and I kind of wish, if it's all me and T's fault because we started this late, but something that we want to do, we're obviously...
Dude, I'm not the one playing professional baseball over here, okay? So I think you should just say it's your fault and not mine.
Okay, somebody's still mad because you picked me. I get it.
Well, you're easier to cook for. He's a vegan now. It's hard to cook for.
That's true. The thing, too, like what I was going to say is like, it would have been awesome if we could have obviously done the show like we are, and then right after do something like cooking with you and like had like an actual video of us like all together doing
that would be awesome.
But that's why I think for now what we need to do is obviously we got to have you back on again. There's going to be more things that you're going to be doing from the time that now until I get back to Dallas. So it's something we got to keep in mind is we definitely need to do something with you where it comes to cooking. See, maybe me and T have a cook-off and see who cooks something better. But I'm gonna go cook what
dude.
I'm gonna cook a vegan meal, and he has to cook a regular.
Dude,
meal.
and I'm gonna kill it either way. You're talking to Chef Boyardee in this thing, man. Come on.
And I'm the judge.
Yeah, you're the judge. Rami can be the judge.
I don't know.
Dutch MasterChef. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. I mean, I'm so stoked about this right now because you don't know what do you know how to make in the first place? I mean, besides like some ramen noodle out of a package.
See, I love ramen.
I love ramen too.
You throw me under the bus, but yet I do cook, man. I can cook for myself.
Dude. Okay. All right.
Hey.
It's on. Game on.
I've cooked for many people.
Challenge accepted.
But I think that's something that I really think that we need to do, like, is be able to. Yeah, we got Judge Judy over there. We got it. But I'm saying, like, we've got something that would be seriously really cool for both sides.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Everything. That's why I think
100%.
when it goes with you, hopefully that gets you like. I'm hoping by the time we get back, you really got this thing up and rolling with your show and doing stuff because I know you have the potential to do it. I know you have the mindset. You want to go do it. It's just now, I think when we get back, we make something really happen out of it.
Yeah. And, I'll tell you this, like going back to what I said about wanting to taste what I see on TV, I really want everybody to be able to taste what they see. Right. So, if I cook it, I mean, I want to make it available to people. Right.
Sure.
So, that's part of the whole dinner experience. I even did that when my episode that I knew I was, my signature dish premiered on MasterChef. We worked out a thing at Swoozy's where when you're watching the show, you could taste what I'm cooking.
So it was like a watch party.
I mean, we could even take it to the next level, right? We could do something where, we could do something for, one of your charities or something like that where, you guys cook off and, I'll make the good food and you guys just compete against each other. And then,
He said he would make the good food, which he would.
It's like
he
we
would.
just served up dog food or something.
It's just we're just doing what we're doing for the camera is what he said basically.
No, but I mean, listen, we can make it happen. I'm just teasing you guys.
Let the real actors do this. You do the real cooking. Yeah. We got this
covered. That's hilarious.
Okay. But I just think like that. It would be really cool to do something like that. And I mean, I'm excited to see what you bring to the table with your show and everything too. I think that'll be sick. Hopefully we get to see it soon. That's the big thing. I think from hearing everything that T says about you with cooking, I haven't got to really experience it. Obviously now I'm away, so it's not as easy. So if you want to FedEx me something, that'd be great. But I think it's cool that you have this going, and I think you should really, capitalize. I don't like you were talking about when we were making the comment, it could be too late to go back and do this stuff on a TV show. Screw that, dude. You could easily, I think the thing is, you could take the time and go do it.
Yeah.
And you can make your own show, and you never know what can really happen, because it's one of those things that, like, what I've been told is you never know. You might be really good at something until you try it. So if you got to get out there and you got to branch out and do it.
Yeah, no,
I think
absolutely.
You definitely have the potential. You've showed it already. You've done the whole MasterChef TV stuff. Like, you can do it. So it's a matter of, and the other thing too, on top of that, if you think about it too, like I made the comment to you about looking at Food Network, and you could see that and be like, all right, I'm making that. You might be inspiring somebody else to be like, I just saw him do that. I'm going to make that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100%. The thing too. You got to remember, this is going to be just, damn, Mike. It's going to continue to revolve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's, you can inspire a lot of people in Dallas. That's a huge market.
Yeah. Dallas has the highest restaurants per capita in the country. Did you know that?
There's no way.
No, absolutely.
Fun fact right there.
Yeah.
Make sure you scroll that like right on the thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know that because of my my app that I have.
Right. Which
we're jumping ahead here.
We're gonna get there. Rami has an app. We're gonna talk about his app. We're gonna mention it, but I want to pivot real quick. We're gonna shift over to the moment you've both been waiting for, the WWE. And what does WWE stand for, Derek?
World Wrestling Entertainment now, but it used to be Federation.
It's not worldwide.
Do you know why it's no longer the WWF? Do you know, Derek?
Because of the World Wildlife Foundation.
Ooh.
Come on, bro.
Wow.
Come on. Hey, that's for T right there. There he goes. He's stumped right now.
I'm testing. I just got to make sure, because we're day ones, right? We were born into it, so I got to make sure why if he knows really why it's no longer the WWF.
Right. Okay. So
I want to give one quick shout out though, because it's going to happen, and since we're already there, we got lucky. Me and T are blessed that our next episode, not jumping ahead by any means.
This is cool.
I want to throw this in there. One of my former trainers that's with the White Sox, he was a WCW wrestler, went by the name of Demon. Dale Torborg is going to be joining us.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Awesome.
So that is our next guest.
I definitely want to throw that in.
So you're actually the episode before Demon.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I thought it
was. That is. Listen, T knows how excited I get around professional wrestling.
Yes.
Well, I can already see it. Your face is red. You're all giggly and everything. He's so excited.
He's glistening right now.
Yeah, I'm going to turn. My face is going to be so red, I'm going to look like a demon.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But so let's start off the WWE talk real quick, because this kind of goes a few different directions with us, right? So Rami, one of the first things I learned about him when we met was that he did, when the Dallas Mavericks won the championship in 2011, shout out, which was a very exciting moment.
Fans.
Yeah, we're all Mavs fans, and we're all excited about what the Mavs are about to do this next season with all the new additions. So we might need to have another belt ready for what's about to come. But so Rami, actually, when the Mavs were in the championship, and I'll let him tell the story, but the basics of it is he created a WWE championship belt from scratch. Like, basically
got a WWE belt and modified it.
Right, yeah. He modified the belt to create a Dallas Mavs championship belt, and it kind of turned into a pretty big deal. Yeah,
and so the way it happened is, obviously, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I went to Monday Night Raw probably about a month before the Mavs playoffs, and I was there and I was debating whether or not I wanted to buy one of their replica belts. They're like $400, right? And yeah, I don't know. I was there, and I wanted to do it, and I did it. And the lady told me it was the last one they had. I probably would have never ordered one online, but I was there, so I took it home. At that time it was the WWE spinner belt, the one that John Cena came out with. And and then
I got that signed by him, by the way.
Oh, really?
You name dropped it. I got it signed. I wanted to be Tommy Topper real quick.
Mine's
only signed by Hulk Hogan, Chris Jericho, Sting, and The Miz.
I just know that this is going to be such a nerd out moment. Like the next 20, 30 minutes, I feel like is going to be so. I'm excited to see you guys react to each other.
You know what? I got one thing to say. If you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
All right, so anyway,
moment. By the way, they got hold on, quick
Hall of Fame.
The Generation S, yes, they got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that's going to be freaking awesome.
My little brother Austin, shout out. He is going to be stoked when he sees this part of the podcast where you guys just threw down the suckets. He is going to be so pumped about that. Yeah.
You damn right.
Anyways, all right.
I actually talked to X-Pac on Twitter too. So shout out there. They're just throwing shout outs left and right. I mean, I'm just throwing them. Here we go. They're just grenades. Here you go. See ya. But yeah, carry on. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So, and then that was around the same time that, Edge, the rated R superstar, was, alternating back and forth between Cena, when he beat him at One Night Stand ECW. Remember that? One of my favorite. I'm sorry. When Rob Van Dam beat him and Edge interfered. I'm sorry. I corrected myself. Knowledge there.
You just said ECW though, didn't you?
Yeah. Rob Van Dam beat John Cena at ECW's One Night Stand with help from Edge.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, but anyways, when Edge was the champion, they turned it into the rated R belt, right? So now that's the first time that the WWE changed the belt based on who was champion.
Okay.
Cena had his belt, and then when Edge became the champion, it became the rated R superstar belt, and they would have an R, which I loved because Rami Rassas. They would have an R that spun around as opposed to, the W.
Gotcha. Okay.
So at that time, I had season tickets with the Mavs. Me and one of my friends, we split season tickets, and it was the playoffs, and it was after they were down 2-0 to Portland, and then they were up 2-0 to Portland. Portland came back and tied the series, and then the Mavs won the next two. So they won the first round series 4-2. And then that was the second round was against the Lakers. I remember the Mother's Day massacre because I was there with my mother when the Mavericks swept them and killed them on Mother's Day, blew them out.
Wow.
And then the next series was against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then, everybody was hyped for the Mavericks. We were walking over from where I lived, to the stadium, to the arena one night. And
he was walking distance to the arena from where he lived.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys caught that at home. Typically not cheap.
He's rich is what he was saying. Rich. I live right beside the stadium.
So at this point, everybody I know is going to the games, right? So we met up at my place before the game because it was so close, and I had the WWE belt right there on my not my nightstand, but my bar, like on a stand, and I had a Mavericks car magnet that was round, and I had it in where the WWE logo was, so it was basically a center plate of the belt. And I was like, should I take this? I'm like, I don't want to carry it around. And one of my coworkers at the time who was with us, he was like, no, man, take it, dude. That's pretty cool. If he wasn't there, I kid you not, if he wasn't there
it never would have happened.
It never would have happened. Robert Brecht. I'm going to give him a shout out.
Okay. Shout out Robert.
If he didn't convince me and tell me like, dude, that's dope, that's cool, I would have talked myself into not taking it.
Yeah, because like most people aren't taking like WWE belts to basketball games.
Exactly.
Just in general.
So we go to the game and I'm carrying it around my shoulder, and it's, people see the Mavericks logo and they're like, what is that? What is that? What is that? People are just coming up to me, taking pictures with me in the belt, just because, it's something they've never seen before. They've never seen a Mavericks championship belt. So, our seats were kind of behind the basket, probably about 10 rows up. And, whenever they pan to the crowd and they do those shots, they're always looking for, fun people, different signs. So I'd always hold up the belt.
Gotcha.
I'd always hold up the belt. And at the time I had long hair.
Yes.
And I had a scruffy beard.
Yes, you did.
So, I would take it to the belt, and they'd always put me on the Jumbotron. It was, if you want to get on the Jumbotron, take a big shiny belt and just hold it up.
Right.
Because I would make it on there all the time. And then I was driving to work. This was probably so the Mavericks beat the Thunder in 5. They had 3 games here. Games 1, 2, and 5?
Yep.
So after game 2, I'm driving to work one day and I'm listening to the radio, the fan at the time, and they're talking about, have y'all seen this guy in the crowd that looks like a caveman that's holding up like a WWE replica belt?
Is that when those Geico commercials were real big too?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yes. 100%. And at the time, because the dealership I worked at, we did some advertising in the radio. I called the station manager who I knew, and I said, "Hey, Robbie, that's me they're talking about."
Wow.
He's like, "I'm going to put you on the air."
That's crazy.
So he pipes me through. He puts me on the air. I do an interview on the radio station.
What show is this? I think you said The Fan.
Was it G-Bag Nation or
no?
It wasn't Ben and Skin because they weren't there at the time.
No. But Ben and Skin, they were at the Ticket. I had to run in with the Ticket guys with the belt in Miami. We'll get to that later. But
was it KNC Masterpiece?
I believe it was some of the same guys that might not have been called the KNC Masterpiece. I mean, whoever the morning show was back then, in 2011 on The Fan, whoever was the morning show back then.
Probably a way cooler experience though, being on the Secret Handshake podcast.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Than that.
But so anyway, so that creates a little bit of a buzz, and then now when I'm at Game 5. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody's looking for me. Everybody's looking at me. And then, now I'm kind of like a celebrity, a local celebrity just for the Mavericks games. They're taking pictures of me with the belt. I mean, it's insane the amount of publicity this belt is getting at the game. So obviously they win. And we just take it to the next round for Miami. The first 2 games they were here. And again, the belt, same thing. It's kind of growing for itself. The WFA Channel 8 did a little, story after one of the games, and where the players are walking through the tunnel. I'm holding my belt, and the belt gets right there on camera. So, it's every story that's about the Mavericks in the playoffs, you'll find somewhere my belt is there.
It just started to kind of grow and evolve from like you taking it to this game to becoming a lot bigger than like probably what you even expected to have happen.
100%. And then somebody on the radio, and I don't remember who it was, called me the Mavs belt guy. Okay. So, and this was in 2011. Think about Facebook. There was no Instagram.
So real quick, not to interrupt you, but Derek's about to interrupt us. He's going to start typing and tell me that he has to go let his dogs out to use the restroom. Here he goes.
Actually, I don't. Nope.
No,
I don't.
Come on.
Carry on. Way to go. You just ruined the story right there.
I saw it. I saw it all getting ready to go down.
No, if you read what I just wrote, I said,
"Oh, my bad.
Wrigley won't stop crying." That's all I was saying. He's literally, if I could turn the camera and look at him right now, he's literally down the hallway. It's like dark back there, and he's just staring at me crying and backing up. He keeps backing up.
Right. Well, sorry, Wrigley.
Carry on.
Okay. So
nobody needs to go outside.
So yeah, somebody, I believe it was somebody, I might have been on the Ticket where somebody. I heard the term Mavs belt guy. That's the Mavs. Who is that? That's the Mavs belt guy.
Wow.
Okay. So this is in 2011. Think about where social media was in 2011.
Yeah.
It was basically just the beginning of Facebook. There was no just the beginning of the Facebook pages. There's no Instagram. Was Twitter around back then?
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't big back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Twitter was, I'd say Twitter was kind of big then.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
So somebody told me, hey, you should create your own fan page. I was like, okay. So I made, because a lot of people were asking, wanting to keep up with the belt. So I created a page called the Mavs Belt Guy on Facebook. Okay. And so now anytime somebody referred to me, it was going to be the Mavs Belt Guy. And so the Miami series is happening. I'm here in Miami. I'm sorry. I'm at the Mavs game. I think it was maybe game 2. We're sitting, me and my friend were sitting at the game, and Chris Arnold, who I've had interactions with before, comes up to me. He's like, "Man, dude, this is so cool." He's like, "I've seen this, and I just wanted to come over and he looked at it. He's like, "This is pretty dope." He's like, "Man, it would be awesome if you could be in Miami for Game 6." Okay, actually, this was Game 5. I'm sorry, Game 5. Because Game 5, then we're going back to Miami for Game 6. He's like, "Man, this would be awesome if you could be in Miami for Game 6.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
And again, I don't know. Honestly, I feel blessed a lot of times the way things work out for me. Sitting behind me was a guy dressed in Miami gear. Okay. And we were talking, and he's from Miami.
Okay.
And he was like, He's like, if you guys come down to Miami, I'll hook you. I sell tickets. I sell tickets to Heat games. I said, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And, and I didn't know this guy from anywhere, but he gave me his number. And so a couple of days later, me and my friend are like, okay, we're going to go down to Miami. Let's hit this guy up. He sold us 2 tickets behind the basket, probably about 50 rows up, for a good price, a good value. It was $700, and we thought it was for 1 ticket, but it was for 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was in the same, I kid you not, it was in the same area as the Mavs. Donnie Nelson was 1 row in front of me. A lot of the Mavs personnel that I recognized were there.
Nice.
So it was basically the friends and family area.
Perfect spot to be.
So a day before we're departing, I get a message on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Facebook from this reporter for Channel 5. She's like, we love what's going on with this. We want to do a story on it.
Okay.
I said, okay. She's like, any chance you're going to be in Miami for game 6? I said, actually, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be down there. This is where I'm staying. She's like, perfect. She's like, can you meet us the day of the game, around noon, around the arena, and let's shoot an interview. Let's shoot some footage. I said, sure. So we go down there. Miami's humid.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my, Dirk, it was actually a Dirk, Germany throwback jersey.
Nice.
So I'm wearing it. We walk to the arena. I'm walking in Miami, I'm walking around Miami with my belt, and she did a,
which is kind of a funny thing to visualize in the sense, like
just walking around the city.
Dirk German jersey, belt on the shoulder, like repping.
And so we get to the arena, and she does an interview about me. And she does this whole story, and she tells me to do some poses in front of the arena. And what am I doing? I'm holding a championship belt. So I'm doing the Randy Orton. I swear to God, if I showed you these pictures, man, you would get it. You'd appreciate it, Derek. But anybody else who saw it, like, what is he doing? Yeah. I'm literally doing the Randy Orton right there with my belt on, standing in front of the American Airlines arena. Not as good as
get those pictures so we can share them to the audience.
Oh, I have those. I'll send them to you.
We'll post them on the Instagram.
We don't care about the food anymore now. We just want to share these pictures.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. And then as part of that story, I told her about my fan page that I created. Immediately after the story aired, because the story aired before the game, my fan page blew up with a few thousand followers on Facebook, right? And then after that, I went back to the hotel because it was early. It was early in the day. So we went back to the hotel, had some dinner, and I'm sitting at the bar we're having a drink before we go to the game. And who do I see across from me? Corby, Gordo, Grego from the ticket. Yeah. And those guys, like Corby especially, he's so paranoid. Like, he doesn't want to jinx it. Ever since 2006 in the parade, he's like, keep that thing away from me. I don't want to see that belt. Keep that belt away from me. And I did. I was kind of the same way. I don't want to prance around in enemy territory with a belt. So I always kept it kind of hidden and go to the game. And the whole time I had it like in the seat. I was not holding it up. And sure enough, obviously the Mavericks won. Yep. And at that time I had been, in communication with Brendan Haywood and Sean Marion, JJ. And I took the belt down to the court, and what do they do? They come grab the belt from me and keep. I thought for sure I could at least get on the court. I'm going to be one of those random guys that's just on the court taking pictures. So they come grab the belt from me, and they take it. And I'm sitting here behind the rope, and I see my belt everywhere. My belt is right there next to the Larry O'Brien trophy. They're celebrating with it, right? And I mean, it's everywhere. And then I see Brendan Haywood and Tyson Chandler. They're leaving with my belt, and they go backstage. They go behind into the locker room. And there's footage of this everywhere. I mean, I have all those pictures where you can see my belt right next to the Larry O'Brien trophy, where you can see Tyson Chandler in the locker room with my belt. And I'm like, man, how am I going to get my belt back? And you can follow this entire story on the timeline. Yeah, Mavericks win. Oh my gosh, I'm on the court. Oh shit, they took my belt. Wait, where's my belt? I'm celebrating. Yeah. And I'm just like sitting there. And finally, I swear to you, we were about to walk away, and Brendan Haywood comes out and he gives me my belt back.
How funny is it that they were like, hey, we got to make sure after it's all said and done, hopefully he's out there still waiting for his belt. We got to go bring it back to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like if we would have won the World Series and some fan had a belt and I took it from him,
you weren't giving that back.
I'm probably going to just tell them, I'm going to be like, you're not going to get this back. I'll mail it to you later because we're going to celebrate with this.
Well, I'll be honest with you, that belt. Oh, I'll tell you this. You know what the cool thing he did was? He got it autographed by the entire team.
Shit.
Yeah. Everybody except I think Jason Kidd signed it. And I don't know where Jason Kidd was at the time, but so the original belt, which I have in storage, it's not the prettiest belt. It's not the most clean cut belt. It's something I threw together. The sides are still WWE plaques. There's no modifications there. It's basically just a Mavericks magnet that I stuck on the front. But that Mavericks magnet, which is not a perfect circle because of the way the belt is autographed by the entire 2011 team minus Jason Kidd.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So
you better keep that shit hidden.
Oh, I have it. I honestly,
because now you're a wanted man.
Yeah.
On this podcast, people listen, and now we're gonna be searching for you.
I had a guy
searching for your belt.
Yeah, I mean, I had a guy offer me $5,000 for it, but I did not give it to him. No way.
No chance.
So
I'm not doing it for that either.
So we get back to Dallas. But I make it back to the hotel, and then I see the ticket guys again, and now they're okay to take pictures with me in the belt. They're okay with it now.
Right, because there's no way to jinx it.
So we get back to Dallas, and
Captain Obvious.
And I think this whole belt thing is over, but it's still growing, and I run into we were celebrating, and I ran into Sean Marion, JJ Barea, and Jason Terry. We were out one night just celebrating on the town. And I had the belt with me. I would take the belt everywhere I went. I would go to restaurants, the belt was with me. I'd go to clubs, the belt was with me.
It's like your pass everywhere. Like, oh, I'm the guy with the Mavs belt.
And
table for two? Yeah. No, it's actually one, but yeah.
I kid you not. I was out one time, and Sean Marion came up to me. He said, "Can I take this?" He's like, "The parade is tomorrow. I want to take this belt." I said, "Sure." I said, absolutely. So he takes the belt. I remember he put it in his, I think, what is he had, a Ferrari at the time? Was it a red Ferrari?
Yeah, he doesn't have that one anymore, but yeah.
He got in the car in the Ferrari with the belt, and then the parade that was the next day. And I was actually working, so I was watching the parade on TV, and I kept looking for my belt. And me and Sean Marion, he had given me his number at the time because he had my belt. So we were texting.
You have to get your belt back.
I was texting between Sean Marion and Brendan Haywood at the time. Okay. And Brendan Haywood was like, "Yeah, Sean forgot the belt," because I'm watching the parade, and they're on the buses or whatever. And he's like, I texted Brendan Haywood. I said, "Where's the belt?" He said, "Sean forgot it at home."
Man,
they get back to the arena, and they do the thing outside out front where they talk to the fans, and Sean's not there. And then, sure enough, what I find out is Sean ran home. Now, I don't know how close, but he went home, got the belt, and then when they introduced,
it's not that close. It's up the tollway. It's definitely not that close.
Or maybe he had somebody else go. But the point is, he got the belt. When they introduced him like a professional wrestler, he came out holding the belt up. But
upside down, though, right?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. In the footage, he's holding the belt upside down. So the whole time he comes out. They even put a picture of it on the jumbotron. He's holding the belt. It's upside down. I think even when he has it in his lap, I think it might have been upside down as well.
Oh man.
But then they have that, and then I get the belt back, and then he gives it back to me, and then this is over, right? The belt thing is over, right?
Right.
What happens? WWE writes an article about me on the front page of WWE.com.
Wow.
Mavs fanatic, Mavs fan, Rami Rassas. Mavericks celebrate with the replica, a modified WWE Championship belt, courtesy of Mavs fan and WWE fan Rami Rassas.
You got to think, Derek, how much of a high do you think Rami was on after all of that?
I don't think his feet were grounded. He was just floating from place to place. I mean,
I'm not talking, up like WWE.com right now is a pretty complex page. There's links everywhere. It's like, what's the main story? I'm talking about, you went to WWE.com. You saw Brendan Haywood holding the belt, and right there on the front page said Rami Rassas. And then
That's awesome.
And then my fan page immediately blew up. Now I had like close to 10,000 followers on my Facebook fan page. And that to me, that is my greatest claim to fame. Like that to me is, I mean, I made it, this huge WWE guy made it to the front page of WWE.com.
Right. So let's break this down real quick. So we'll kind of keep this concise here because we got a few more topics that we got to cover, but the belt has had life beyond the belt because you also have made belts. As soon as you did that, you started getting requests from other athletes.
The first person to contact me was Karan Butler. He said, man, that belt's pretty cool. Can I get one of my own? Man, one thing you learn about me, if it's something I love, if it's wrestling, if it's food, I'll always say yes. You could ask me to turn water into wine. And if you're a professional wrestler and athlete, I'm going to say yes.
He said it here.
So he's like, yes, but I want this, and this on it. And I was like, okay. So now I have an athlete and he's like, how much is it? I said, listen, I know these guys make money. I know a lot of guys take advantage of it.
Right.
I said, you know what, Karan? And I didn't want to disappoint them with the quality of work because I had never done one before. So I said, what I'll do is I'll make one for you and I'll give you exactly what you want. And at the time in the off season, he was living in Virginia. I said, and I'll FedEx it to you and I'll give you my information and you send me whatever you think is fair. Okay.
Cool.
So with the help of who I call the belt girl, and I'm going to give her a shout out because she helps me, Nagme Meraki, Nikki.
Okay.
Nikki for short. Nikki. She, I needed somebody who was not only going to have the time to help me with this, but had a little bit of a design to, artistic eye to them. So we sat down and we started doing these belts. And, I put it together and I FedExed it. I sent it to Karan. And I'm not going to say what he sent me because, But if I were to put a price on the belt, that it's probably close to what I would have done. And then at that point, I had Tyson Chandler contact me. He wanted a belt. We made one for Brendan Haywood. And then, whenever they said, whenever they asked what the price was, it was whatever Karan gave me. That became the price because I don't want to rip these guys off. And then Wade Smith of the Houston Texans, he's a Mavs fan. He contacted me. He asked me to make a belt for him. I made a belt for Sean Marion. Yep. I even made a belt for Darren Woodson. I made Darren Woodson a 1992 Dallas Cowboys championship belt.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's
basically
hailing names over here right now. I don't know if you guys know that. But.
These are clients of mine. They're clients of mine. But yeah, basically it just became a situation where there was a local title company that wanted a championship belt for their office. And I took that and I what do you want? And I made it for them. So it kind of took off a business life of its own.
So Rami just got distracted by our typing. I'm sorry, Rami.
Oh, well, no, I mean, but yeah, so.
Well, just letting you know what's going to happen is what I told you earlier is his battery on his GoPro is going out right now. So he's switching that. And then that's what's probably going to happen here on mine here any minute now. But no, so the belt itself, Derek, you can still talk and participate even while you're switching out the battery. Think about like 10 episodes or 15 episodes into this. You're going to be able to switch the battery and not even skip a beat in the conversation while we do this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but you're just not there yet. It's okay. I'm not there yet either, but we'll get there.
It takes time.
Yeah,
That's
but
the thing that we need to understand, that it takes time. But I want to go back to the whole belt thing because I'm a big belt guy myself. I've bought pretty much every belt. The only ones I haven't bought is like the Steve Austin belt. I just got the New Day belt. I should say that the tag team belts that they have. Okay. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, but they have their own.
I love the
like
belts.
Do you have the New Day, the one that's like a purple belt? It's like a different.
No, it's a baby blue.
Yeah, baby blue. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Or teal, baby blue, whatever you want to say. And it's pretty. I don't have it here with me. It's at the house. But I think that's.
But guess what? I knew about that.
So I have an autographed. I was going to say I have an autographed NXT championship belt, the NXT championship belt that Finn Balor won in Brooklyn. And it's autographed Finn Balor NXT Brooklyn. Wow. It's got a picture of him with autographing the belt, and I bought that at WrestleMania. And
so it's the exact belt. It's not a replica of his.
Yeah, I got the actual NXT Brooklyn belt.
That's really cool.
Friends with Baron Corbin, so I'm working on getting a belt as well from him. I mean,
what has he won?
He hasn't won anything. Actually, no, he has the Intercontinental belt.
Oh, he did.
I think that's what it was. It's sitting at his house because I saw it. I saw the belts at his house. That's the only reason why I know.
Okay.
So boom, in your face. You kind of stumped me right there.
Yeah, look at that. Trick question.
Not up in here. No, but it's I got to actually. I mean, I know we're talking about the wrestling and all that stuff, and it's cool with the belts. Like, I definitely would love to get a belt from you as well. What I would like to do, though, if I did it, I would want probably 3 different belts. I'd want a Rangers belt, a White Sox belt, and a Giants belt, just because I think it's something that's unique that I could sit and use. That I played for all 3 of these teams. I'm passionate about wrestling. I love it.
So
something that's different.
What if I told you that when you guys were in the World Series, you're going to hate this. When you guys were in the World Series and you were about to win it, that I had a Texas Rangers belt above the dugout for you guys, ready for you to celebrate with.
You guys were that close, and then it took this much time for you to unite. I'm about to show. He's pulling up a picture of it right now.
Where is that?
Oh, wow.
Twice.
Man, dude, this is literally.
It was there,
right above the dugout. I'm gonna see if I can. We'll put this on the Instagram and all that, and we'll see if we can maybe throw it into the episode.
That is in St. Louis. That's in Busch Stadium on top of the dugout. It was there for you guys. I thought about you guys. I had it ready for you guys.
That's pretty cool. Well,
do you realize though? Like, keep this in mind too. Just think. So the Mavs won 2011,
right?
And then here we were at the World Series. We were about to be the city.
The city would have been on fire. The city would have been on fire.
I mean, but I'm saying we could have been the city of champions. Like, we get to see, and I mean, I hate to see it, but it's cool. You know, you get to see something like that, like Boston.
It's unbelievable.
Bruins, and they had the Red Sox.
Yeah.
We were that close to doing that, though. We had the Mavs won. We were already in the World Series, and the Cowboys were still pretty decent. Like, there was a chance that they were going to do something, because I'm pretty sure I think DeMarco Murray was there, Romo was still there, Bryant, all those guys, and they were pretty freaking hot.
Well, I think at the time there was an article that came out that ranked the top sports cities, and they ranked Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington as the number 1 city for, based on all this criteria. Now, obviously, it's Boston, but yeah, I mean, back then city was lit with sports.
I think the way Mike Jones said it, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me.
Correct. But it's crazy though. So if the Stars, we don't know how that would have panned out, but to tie into the Stars, the first time I met you, I thought you were.
Yes, the Brendan.
We actually played a trick on a chick that was at the bar. I think it was at. Was that Swoozie at the time?
No.
Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels.
That's right. Jack Daniels. That's right.
Wait, hold on. How was I at the Stars game?
It was a Dallas Mavericks game.
Dallas Mavericks game.
You and I went to the Mavs game together.
You couldn't have been.
I could.
Yeah, exactly.
It was definitely a Mavs game.
Yeah, we went to a Mavs game.
I do remember it because I think you introduced me to him.
Yeah, he and I went to the game together. Yeah, we went to the game together, and then we went to the Jack Daniels Club because that's what everybody does. Between. I guess usually at halftime, before the game, halftime, and then after the game. So we went over there and then ended up running into you, introduced you guys. And I don't know if you guys had met really before that or not. You might have at some point, like in Dallas.
I'm sure we've seen each other, I think. But yeah, and that's when we started having fun with it, because that girl came over and thought I was. Well, she thought it was me.
Right.
And I said, no, that's actually Brendan Morrow.
Well, because there were people, I think there were people asking to take pictures with you. And of course you do that. So then she sees that this one person keeps having people ask to take photos. So she comes up and she starts playing kind of dumb. And our battery just went out too. There we go. Right in the middle of my story. But the girl comes up and asks for the photo, and you go, well, you really want to get a photo with my buddy over here, Brendan Morrow from the Dallas Stars. And so we had a great time with that. She believed it. She went and told her friends.
Let me just take it from here for you so you can change the battery.
Thank you.
That way we're not missing any of the video from you.
There's important details.
Yeah, I think what was cool was obviously, we had a lot of fun with that, because the girl I don't think she clearly knew who I was, which was fine. You know, it wasn't anything to do with that.
You were
The fact
pissed.
that we could sit there and joke with her. What?
I said you were pissed that she
I
didn't know
missed
who
it 'cause
you were.
My freaking internet sucks. It chopped up. Yeah, I was throwing a temper
I was just
tantrum because like, man, I'm next to
Yeah.
Brendan Morrow and she doesn't realize it's me. And I remember, we goofed off with her. She was talking to us and she was trying to figure out everything. Why is this happening? Why are they taking pictures? And I decided that I was going to twist it all up and be like, look, I'm right next to Brendan Morrow. You really got to get a picture with him. And it kind of just, spiraled from there. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, anytime I can pretend I'm somebody else, it takes me back to that, that acting dream that I always had. So hopefully I played the part of the hockey player.
You did not fail, though. You did really good on acting as if you were Brendan Morrow. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
Your acting career started with me and T. 100%. We should get credit for that.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Whenever I have one of my dinner parties and I want to give everybody a laugh, the funniest thing that I've ever done is I'm actually the star of a Cinemark training video where I play a box office robber, as if somebody would ever rob a movie theater.
So you're in the training video for a movie theater. Is this like what they show to their employees?
Yes. What to do if the box office gets robbed. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Derek, did you like how I kind of hopped back into place over here?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say to change a battery on a camera, I didn't know it was going to require taking out couch cushions and hopping out of the seat.
Yeah, no, because I don't have the app connected right now and I didn't feel like messing with that. So I had to make sure I could frame up the shot to where it still had both of us in the picture. But we're in a bit of a tight space to get this sexy look on camera right now. So yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, I understand and I respect that. But it's still, let's get back to the Brendan Morrow thing. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Did that.
Well, and
we should do that some more. We should go out on town and just think about this social experiment, right? What if we just take anybody and just have a bunch of people just go up and take pictures with him? You know how many girls or people would just be like, oh, I want to take a picture with you. I want to take a picture with you.
That's 110% going to happen if you do that because it's just natural.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. If you look at, they did like this, and it's kind of random that we're talking about that now, but they did like this study. You can take a fake person. They don't even have to know who it is, but you get like 10 people to start taking pictures with them in a kind of crowded area. People just flock over and start taking pictures, not knowing who he is. You can make up a name that's somewhat similar to what he would look like. So, I don't know how he would do it, but you throw something out like obviously it would say Brendan Morrow right here, and boom, and they're all going to eat it up, especially if it's down. Like if we went to North Park Mall, we sat in there, and all of a sudden we got like 10 people. It's like, hey, come take a picture. It's Brendan Morrow. People would start doing it, and then the rest of those people would see it and be like, okay, what the hell's going on over there? Who is
guaranteed?
Go over there.
Guaranteed to
they
happen.
take the picture, not even knowing that it's not him.
So I'm going to go ahead and be transparent right now. So when me and my two childhood best friends, I think I was around 16 years old. We could definitely drive, but I think I was like right around 16. We would just pick random nights and we would go out to restaurants. And we would call ahead, or if we didn't call ahead, we'd pull up to the restaurant and we'd go up to, we'd have one guy go inside and act real serious and just tell the restaurant, the host or the manager, whoever it was, that, hey, listen, I've got somebody really important with me. And like one time we pretended that I was Justin Timberlake's brother, Jason Timberlake. And so
is Jason Timberlake a real person?
That's his real brother. Oh, okay. I believe we fact checked it.
With real facts.
Yeah, we went on Wikipedia and looked it up, but it's like, okay.
So you did the research.
We did the research, but my buddy goes in and I forget what restaurant it was. And again, like 16, 17 years old, goes in, tells them, hey, look, I've got Jason Timberlake with me. We would really like some privacy just because you know how I can get being the brother of Justin Timberlake. It was just a funny thing that we thought of, but it worked. And so we would go do that at like different spots. They'd give us a private section. We'd use different names every time. And that was before like social media. And all. So probably have a harder time, or maybe you wouldn't. You got people that can literally make these accounts of these images and these personas nowadays to like really sell themselves as something that maybe in, actual reality they're not. But that was our little taste of it. So that was all to say 110% you can create that dynamic and that vibe that there's somebody special in the room right now if you just kind of put together the right formula.
I don't know, if you came to me and said you were Justin Timberlake's brother, I'd say bye. I've been holding that one. Yeah, I've been holding that one.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that forever. As soon as you said the name, Jason Timberlake, got this one ready.
We'll let the listeners decide if they thought that joke was funny or not.
Who's going to have the best dad joke of this podcast?
Right now,
I'm pretty good at those, by the way.
Right now, you guys are neck and neck. Okay, so...
I'm waiting for yours.
So,
actually, hold on. Let me go ahead. Because I got something with this is, obviously... T told me about you got to meet probably one of your favorite wrestlers of all time. And I got to do that not too long ago. And mine was Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
And so I got to see him actually out here for the Royal Rumble.
And that's when you gave away those belts, right? To the kids?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I saw that. I saw that story. Yeah.
So that's something obviously my favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio. On top of that, yeah, I've been doing this thing by getting kids the belts for the past 3 years, I think it is, maybe 4. And it's just something that like started with me because I saw a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation that was there for John Cena. He didn't have an actual belt, so I felt like it was like a calling to me that I needed to go get this kid a belt. And so from then on, Josh, my buddy, aka Head is what we call him, was with me, and we were like, hey, let's go get the kid a belt. And then every day that we went, we would sit by kids, and it's nothing like they're not less fortunate or anything like that. It's just something that I wanted to bring to the table to where it's inspiring a kid that's going to be a memory that's going to last forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's something that, we were fans. Look at us when we were kids. If somebody would have brought me a belt, if I went to an event, I never got to go to one.
Yeah.
But if I got to go to a wrestling event and somebody got me a belt, that's going to last me forever. Like I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, 100%.
So I looked at it the same way as here's these kids. They're into this show. They're having fun. They're us. Yeah. It's like that's our bodies over there, like little kids that are celebrating, excited. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I never got caught, which was awesome. And to me, it's not always about, hey, watch me, I'm giving a belt.
No, that's not why you do it.
Talk about it. No, and that's not who I am. Like T knows, like everybody knows, that's not my personality by any means. I just like to, I guess, surprise people or inspire people.
You like to make sure people have a good time. You're all about everyone enjoying themselves and having a good experience.
So I finally got caught at this was actually at the Raw, Monday Night Raw.
Because I remember I saw it on Stephanie's Twitter. That's where I first saw it, and I sent it to T.
And so these kids were sitting there. There were two girls, 3 boys, and I felt like I wanted to go get them a belt. And the women's belts are pretty cool too. So I was trying as hard as I could to get 2 women's belts, and then I'd get the boys 3, universal belts or championship belts, whatever. Well, they didn't have any, so I ended up getting the 2 girls, the universal title, which is red, and then I got the world heavyweight title, which is black, because, red, a girl likes red, so I can't, it's the best thing I could do. Like, I got to try to find a way that they're different. So I ended up doing it. Well, I got caught. Stephanie found out, and Stephanie knows who I am because I've been back there all the time. Like, every time there's a show, if I'm around, I go there, and I see all the wrestlers, say hi, all that stuff. And she knew, but she didn't know it was me. She's like, who the hell is buying 5 belts? Just like you said, I don't care how rich you are. It has nothing to do with money, but those are expensive belts. They're $400 at least. And here it is. She's like, who the hell is buying these belts? 5 belts for 5 kids that he doesn't even know. And then I finally got the connection.
Wait, is she that in tune that she just sees 5 belts were bought and just thinks like, how did
she find out that happened?
So there was somebody with him that was connected to Stephanie and all that.
Oh, okay.
So she reached out to them, talked to them, and got it connected to where she knew what was going on. Like she wasn't blindsided by any of it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
What the hell? For some reason my sound just went out of my ear. So anyway, she got it. There we go. She got it connected.
Okay.
Found out. I got you back. We're back. She got it connected. She figured everything out. And then I'm good friends with Paul, which is Triple H.
Yeah.
His driver, Terry, was telling Stephanie, and the security guard was telling Stephanie as well, that's Derek. You know who he is. You'll see him in a little bit. So then they called me back, and that's why I did the interview. But to me, it's just something like, as a wrestling fan, as passionate as you are too, it's something that we can do that's going to change their lives and just be cool to do. It's not like it. It's just a great feeling. Like, I'm not trying to do anything crazy about it. It's just a cool feeling to do something like that. So with that, you got to meet Hollywood.
Oh, yes.
So your inner child came out, and like, I can already see, like, right now you're just
look at the happiness.
Like, you're so excited. Like,
the happiness in his
saying.
eyes right now.
Because
this is what people don't realize is, like, if you talk to people that don't really know anything about wrestling, all they sit there and they bitch about is, well, you're watching it's fake, you know.
No.
I don't give a shit. It's entertainment. Like,
it's
you
entertainment.
can't sit here and tell me Days of Our Lives is real.
Oh, my
like,
God.
get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a soap opera, and that's how it's supposed to be. And people don't understand that. This is like a getaway from everything. Like, you have a bad day, you go watch something that's going to take you away from that. Wrestling is that thing. And if people would actually go to the events and see, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
A lot of people don't understand. Even the first time he went, I took him to Monday Night Raw. Yeah. He didn't understand the production value. Like, people do not get that.
Well, what blew my mind is, you know, so he took me to a Monday Night Raw, my very first wrestling experience, WWE experience. It was at the AAC, and I had no idea really what to expect because I was a WWE fan back when I was a kid. Like, when I was like 10, 11, 12, my parents weren't really cool with me watching it. So, like, I would actually sneak it. I had like the last channel on the remote control set so that, like, if I heard him walking into the room, it would switch back over to, you know, some acceptable, you know, show or whatever. But the Goldust days, the, you know, Mankind, Steve Austin, Kane, Undertaker, like, that was kind of when I came up, you know, in it, Bret and Owen Hart and like those guys. And then from probably 12 and on, my focus shifted to baseball. I really didn't even think that WWE was still around. So when I went to that event with you, it tripped me out because we got there, maybe 30 minutes before the doors opened. We went to, I think, Shooters, the bar that was like right next to it. But 30 minutes before the doors even opened, and there's like literally a line wrapped around the building to like get into this place. And like, I just, in that moment, it was like the instant kind of crystallization of just like, wow, this is way bigger than I even expected.
Wrestling fans, and you know, are the most, obviously with me and him, they're the most loyal fans on the planet. I mean, they
die hard.
Yeah, die hard. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've definitely missed, you know, a few years. I can't act like I've watched it, you know, my entire life because I definitely stepped away. But I will say one thing though that I don't think a lot of people understand. I made the comment that obviously it's fake, but there's a lot of things that these guys do that is real.
Oh, it's technical.
Like, they're so close when they're doing things that even just a little slip up, because they do slip up.
Yeah,
they do
absolutely.
hit each other. It happens. And the other thing, when you're using those tables, those chairs, the ladders, all that stuff, that's real. That shit does not feel good. Like, I've talked to Baron and I've talked to Demon, and I got lucky. I had Chavo Guerrero come into the Chicago White Sox, did the chest slap to me. I felt that. Gosh. That was real.
Oh, yeah. There's no way they can fake that.
Those are real things. Yeah. And that's what some people don't realize. And the thing is, too, they don't have much of an off season.
No, there's
literally
not one.
Full go.
It's pretty much year round. Yeah.
They get like a few days off, basically a week. So from what I was told by Baron is basically you're going Monday, Tuesday. You got obviously Raw and SmackDown. Then you got Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday off, and then Saturday and Sunday you're shooting again to get ready for the show on Monday or Tuesday, whatever one it is. And people don't realize that. And like, for instance, Baron's his wife is pregnant, and so they're about to have a child. Man, he wants to be around that. He wants to be around his child. So it's going to be hard when you're doing stuff like that, when you're traveling. I get it. I play baseball and I get to travel and all that stuff, but I have an off season.
Yeah.
These guys don't truly have it. And people don't understand the grind that those guys really got to go through. And I mean, obviously me and UT, we're going to get into it more with Demon, but having this passion with Rami is like, it's unbelievable. Like he knows, like we have these conversations because wrestling is a crazy, crazy thing.
Right.
I mean, I'm huge on like documentaries and behind this. Like, honestly, like I watch wrestling. I can watch wrestling and I can know when somebody's like really hurt and when they're not. Like I can pick up on that kind of stuff. And, it's just when you watch it so intently and closely and you see these wrestlers that do get hurt. I appreciate what they do more than anything, man. And I'd love to try it. I'm also, I don't know I'm afraid to try it, but if I, like I told you earlier in the podcast, I would give up everything to try at being a professional wrestler. But I don't think it would be easy at all.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Especially with the high flying and stuff that they're doing, all that. Like, there's a lot of technicalities that they're out there doing that you got to be, God, it's freaking crazy. Jumping off the freaking cage and stuff. Like Shane McMahon off the cage into one of the tables.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy to do. You miss, you're really getting
But the key is it's not just you. You being safe is dependent on the person you're wrestling with too.
Right. Yeah. Because you guys are participating in this together. I mean, yes, you're acting, but there's moves and like the execution of it is really a teamwork.
You have to learn how to hit and you have to learn how to take a hit. And if one of those people messes up, then one of them's getting hurt.
Yep.
But we kind of sidetracked a little bit. We still got to hear, man.
All right, the Hulk Hogan story. Okay.
The so excited little boy.
What you gonna do, brother? All right.
Oh, yeah. Come on, brother. Tell me what you got.
Okay, so I had a restaurant uptown. And, T is the vegan master right now, but back then my restaurant was Scotch and Sausage, and we specialized in gourmet sausages, and he loved my Scotch egg.
Love a good gourmet sausage.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Yeah.
Holy sausage.
So he would come up there. I mean, he was one of my regulars. He would come up there. And that's how I met him. I met him when I had the restaurant. He was one of my customers, right? And he'd come up there and he'd sit at the bar and we'd chat. And I think we were just talking about what are the plans? What are you doing next couple of days? And I'm like, I'm going to Monday Night Raw. And he's like, man, I didn't realize you were into that. I said, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And then he's like, man, it's too bad Hulk Hogan's not going to be here or he's not wrestling anymore because, I'm friends with Nick Hogan. I could probably make a call. I said, well, ironically enough, and I pulled it up on my phone, it's flashback or throwback WWE Raw.
But you gotta put it in perspective though. The only reason I said that probably because I was like, oh, this would sound cool just to drop, this name. And,
he dropped, yeah. He's been dropping names since 2015.
Make this like an exciting conversation with Rami. And I knew that Hulk, he hadn't been wrestling for a while. I think it's been it was 8 years or something like that before he actually made an appearance at this show. So after I say that and Rami, he literally, I go, man, it's too bad, Hulk Hogan's not going to be there because I maybe could make something happen. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe this. And he pulls up the press release that came out from a couple days before this conversation. And it's like Hulk Hogan to make return for the first time in 8 years at Monday Night Raw.
Hogan, NWO, DX.
Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm just kind of kicking myself like, man, you just opened your mouth and now you kind of got to deliver, right? So Rami is excited in this moment because I've already said what I said and I can't take it back. And Rami's like, man, you really think you could? And I'm like, yeah. So I end up hitting up, long story short, I hit up my buddy Nick. Again, Nick is Hulk's son, and I know him from Los Angeles. We've kicked it a whole lot, and he DJs out there. And I even stayed at his place one night because he let me crash on his couch after we went out to a chain smokers party at this nightclub, and he was friends with those guys. But so we got enough of a history where I feel like I could make the phone call to him and just see if at least worst case scenario it can't happen, right? But I'm at least going to try and ask because I could just see how exciting this would be for Rami. And don't get me wrong, it'd be exciting for me too, but it means something different to me than what it means to Rami or what it would mean to you, Derek. So I hit up Nick and I tell him the story and I say, here's what I'm trying to make happen. And he's like, all right. And I think it was a couple weeks out when that went down?
Yeah, but probably
maybe a month or so.
I don't know if that was that long. Maybe a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay, it's a few weeks out from the conversation at his restaurant, and so Nick says, well, look, when it gets closer, I'll talk to my dad and we'll see what we can make happen. So it's like the week of, and me and Rami, keep in communication. I'm going with him no matter what. And he's not putting pressure on me, but we are talking about it. And so it's the week of, and Nick hits me and he's like, hey man, I talked to my dad and he said he's totally cool with it. He wants me to give you, or I gave him your number and he's going to hit you up. Like in a day or two, like the day before the event, and to coordinate. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. So it's the day before, and I kept Rami updated because I just wanted to let him know what was going on. And
this is early in our friendship, so I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying not to put too much pressure on the guy, because it really is. It was early in our friendship, so I don't want to be like the annoying friend.
So it's the day before and I get a phone call and I don't have the number saved in my phone. And typically I'm not getting a lot of calls from people whose number I don't have saved. So, but I see it and it's a Miami phone number and I know that his dad lives out in Miami. And so I pick it up, and right when I pick up the phone, I go, hello. All of a sudden,
hey, brother.
Exactly. Hey, brother. Just like right on the other line. And in my head,
kayfabe for all you wrestling fans, kayfabe.
And so I'm just like, that's definitely Hulk Hogan. And so of course I go, Hulk, what's going on, man? And like, we just sit there and talk for a minute. It's probably a quick, 5-10 minute conversation, but just telling them the setup. We've got a suite. Rami has a suite. We're going to be up there. This is the time that we're going to be there. And Hulk's like, okay, well, if you can just get to the event, and when you get to the event, let me know when you're there. I'm going to have my private security come up to the suite and get you guys and bring you down to, the tunnel, and we'll link up. So I'm like, cool. So I meet Rami. I leave work a little early. I go meet Rami at his place, which is right by the arena, if you didn't know. And we get in the Uber, and we could have walked there, but we took the Uber. Yeah. And in the Uber,
Classy.
in the Uber on the way there, and Rami, he brings his belt with him, which was
the 2011 Mavs championship belt, not the one that was signed by the team, but a different version that I made.
Yeah. So he brings that belt with him. Key factor, he forgets the Sharpie. Totally forgets to bring a Sharpie, but we'll get to that. So we're in the car on the way to the arena, and my phone's ringing again. This time I have his number saved in my phone, and it says Hulk Hogan on my screen, and I just show it to Rami, and his eyes just light up. So of course I answer it on speakerphone, because I'm like, I'm not just gonna like not let him hear this. Same thing. Yo, Hulk, what's up? Hey, brother. Like every time. Guaranteed. And so he's just like checking in to see where we're at. Hey, we're getting ready to pull up. So same thing. Let me know. Security's going to, come get you. So we get up to the suite. I text him the suite number, and, I've got my phone on me, and I'm just like holding it, waiting, because I don't want to miss his call or whatever happens to bring us down. And so I get distracted in the suite talking to Rami, and I think he had a couple of his friends up there. Yeah. And I get distracted, and I go and I look at my phone, and it says missed call from Hulk Hogan. And I'm just like, oh my God, I might have just completely blown this moment, because like there's not much time before, the actual live show, because all these shows are live, right? Yeah. At the end of the day. Right. So like they have like a hard start time. And so I call him back, doesn't pick up, and I'm just like rapid fire texting away like, Hulk, my bad. I was, distracted for a second, but we're ready to go. Well, the next thing you know, this security guard comes up, and she's at the door, and she's just like looking in, and I turn around and see, and I was like, Rami, I'm tapping Rami. I'm like, this is our time. This is our time to go. So we walk up to her. She goes, are you here with Hulk? I was like, yeah. She goes, great. So we get in the elevator. We get in the elevator. She takes us down to the tunnel level, which is like the backstage essentially at the American Airlines Center. And when the elevator doors open, who's walking by the second that the elevator doors open?
We're walking in, and the first thing I'm doing is recording, and immediately somebody's like, no cameras. Yeah. And then Brock Lesnar walks by.
As soon as the elevator doors open up, and you got to understand, as the elevator's going down from the suite level down to the tunnel level, Rami is transforming as we get lower and lower and lower into the arena.
I'm getting younger and younger mentally.
Yeah. So doors open, Brock Lesnar walks by. Rami's like, oh my God, that's Brock Lesnar. And so we get there, and she takes us to the production office, and it's one of like the head producers over there. He's in on the know. I guess Hulk had talked to him. And again, Rami has this belt. Well, he sees that Rami has the belt, and he's like, oh man, you got to get that thing autographed. He goes, you have a Sharpie, don't you? And Rami's like, no, I actually forgot my Sharpie. And he goes, don't worry about it. I got you a silver Sharpie right here. And he goes, grabs a silver Sharpie for Rami, takes us around to this other room. And it's the room that Hulk's in, but it's not just Hulk in this room. Who else is in the room?
The NWO.
Like the entire NWO. And so, I see him, and he gets up in the room.
I was actually almost about to walk in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, and Rami, you asked about walking in there, and Hulk was like, "No, it's probably better if we stay out here." Like
he's like, yeah, I think he said those guys don't do anything for free.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So Hulk comes out, and like the first couple minutes, because I know his son, and that's kind of the whole connection here. He and we talk. And we're kind of going back and forth, some people we have in common that we know. And then I kind of get to the moment of, okay, well, we're really here, Hulk, because my buddy Rami, and before I can even like really finish the introduction,
I don't even know what I said.
Rami's like pushing me out of the way, and he's just like, Hulk, how's it going, man? And he just goes into like this, it was like this whole spiel. It's like he was ready for this moment his entire life to like have this conversation. And so I'm sitting there catching kind of like the behind the scenes photos of my phone of him talking to Hulk and all that kind of stuff. And then he ends up signing the belt.
He signed the belt.
Yeah. And then takes photos with everyone
holding
the
photos,
belt.
You got photos.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I don't even remember what I said to him. I remember trying to get into that room with the NWO. Like I was one of the guys. Yeah. Hey, you don't know me? And then, man, that was that. I'll tell you what, like, I'll be honest, like, there's a lot of things that, I've done, but nothing. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was like as genuinely excited and happy about a moment as I was then. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I don't know, sometimes people ask me to explain it. I don't know, man.
I guess the cooking and stuff with your family there, that wasn't as cool. The carrying the belt in Miami for Game 6, that's not as cool. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, well, because this was me being a child again. Honestly, this was me being a kid, and yeah, for me, it was always Hogan or the Warrior, Right. And it just to actually get to meet the guy who I literally grew up watching. Right. I mean, I would go to Blockbuster and I would rent WrestleMania months after it aired. Obviously, it's not like streaming these days, but I would go and I would rent WrestleMania on VHS and I would watch it. And I remember the very first WrestleMania I rented was WrestleMania 5 in Trump Plaza, and with Macho Man, the Mega Powers collide. So, but yeah, to me and I will always be indebted to him for that. 100%.
I don't know how long I can lean on that moment for favors, but.
Well, I mean, I think you can hold on to that one for a while. That's a keeper for sure. And I mean, that's okay. Sick.
Well, Derek,
it's cool that you got to meet your idol, Hollywood. I mean, did you get to meet any other wrestlers while you were there too, or was it just, you saw Hollywood, obviously you saw Brock walk by. But.
Yeah, no, I mean, after that it was, because it was before the show. So after that, it's like the show, they got to get the show going. So.
The only other thing I have credit for technically with him is he would have met them, but it just didn't work out with the flight situations. Yeah. But I did get him a video shout out from the New Day, like the entire New Day in Orlando at WrestleMania. He got there the day late.
Yeah, and it was so awesome. It was just the three of them saying, Rami, we shouting you out, Rami. Like, I hope that was a good impersonation
of all three. How they would be too.
No, they do a phenomenal job. Derek, if you would like to leave us at this moment to go let your dog out for a restroom break.
Continue.
You sure? I don't want your dog to use the restroom on your floor.
He's not. I realize now what he's doing because of where he's standing. He's trying to get food right now. It's dinner time.
Got you. Yeah, no, but the New Day, that was a cool experience. Those guys are fantastic. So you guys are talking about WWE, and don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed every event that I've gone to. Rami, actually, we went to WrestleMania in Orlando together,
I've been to 3 out of the last 4 WrestleManias. One of them, thanks to him. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, with the WrestleMania experience, I was out there launching with the company I work for, the WWE official headwear at Lids, and it was done at WrestleMania at a local mall, and we brought in the New Day as the fan meet and greet experience to kind of launch the brand. And so that was pretty unique for me because I really again got to see the power of the WWE, and I didn't really know what to expect. It's a mall fan meet and greet. And so when we did it, we started having people show up. The crazy thing too was it wasn't just our meet and greet going on with the New Day, but it was also Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! He was also doing a meet and greet.
Hey, give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Woo! Woo! So
limousine riding, jet flying.
Oh, here we go.
Son of a gun. No, I don't
here
know
we go.
So go ahead.
He's stealing, winning, dealing, Rolex wearing.
So he was doing the meet and greet at the mall as well. So you got to imagine there's probably 1,000 WWE fans that show up for this, but those guys were great. It was an awesome experience. Just, they probably interacted with, 300. I think they only had time. We ran out of time to even get to everybody that was in the line, but they probably interacted with like 300, or so fans just in our meet and greet alone. And every fan interaction was like, they made it feel special with you. And you know how that can get. It's one of those things where like, that's going to get old after a while, but they literally made it feel exciting for every single person. They're some of the best that I've seen when it comes to just that general fan interaction and experience. So for me, working with WWE was pretty cool. I've been to their HQ in Stamford, Connecticut. I've gotten to kind of see like the inner workings and like the behind the scenes of like how just the office operates, all the way down to just actually working with the organization, putting together, a campaign and actually this event going off successfly.
See, I'm so jealous of that. So, I've never hoard myself out, but Stephanie, Triple H, I will cook for you guys. If somebody just get me a tour, get me backstage, something. I will cook.
Hey, I'll see what I'm going to pull a T here, and I'll see what I can do.
All right.
But I'm not gonna go ahead and say that I'm gonna do it like he did. I'm just gonna let this one kind of float out there and see what we can possibly do.
All right.
Okay. Well, there we go. So one thing I want to bring up is just like I said at the beginning, Rami is a jack of all trades. Derek, are you familiar with TED Talks? Have you ever seen a TED Talk before?
I can't say I have, actually.
See, we're going to have to get you up to speed. So TED Talks it's a phenomenal platform. It's I can't remember what the acronym stands for. Do you remember the TED? Thinking.
That is a good.
I think it's thinking, something in design. But basically what it is it's they do these all around the world, and it's unique people from all different backgrounds of life, whether they're scientists, they're, doctors, they're athletes, they're motivational speakers, they're whatever. They get up on this platform in front of this audience. Technology, entertainment, and design. So those are kind of like the 3 driving categories. And they get up on stage and they share these ideas, usually based around a theme for that particular night. And they're typically about 15-minute, sometimes shorter speeches, but it's a great educational and learning platform for anybody that likes documentaries or just likes to
interesting, creative stories.
Hear different perspectives from
inspirational stories, stuff like that.
It's a great platform. So Rami, it's a big deal to do one. It's not just like anybody gets to go do a TED Talk, and so that's
you have to be asked to basically do.
You get invited. You get invited to like share your experience, based around this theme. So when you did the TED Talk, it actually involved, I think, the belt. You talked
Yeah.
about
So
the
basically,
belt, right?
it was every I guess major city has a local TED chapter, and they do a talk maybe once a year. And the theme for the chat in Dallas was conversion. Okay, what type of conversion? Just anything that made sense from a tech, entertainment, social, medical perspective. So there, obviously, that's 2011. Mavericks are hot. The whole city's on fire. So people are following me and this story, and they were fascinated. One of the organizers of the event was fascinated with how. And again, this is the infancy of social media, and in my opinion, obviously, Facebook, right? And they were fascinated with how I was just a fan of the Mavericks, and one little idea that I have turned into this huge thing that not only got me a lot of followers on social media and, connections with athletes. And I mean, there's videos of me on SportsCenter, but anyways, on WWE.com. Well, no, I just said. So
catch it. Well,
I don't know if I can. That's a big one.
To your point, though, not to interrupt, but just to your point, it is I've talked about it. Talked about it recently with a few people, and it's the ripple effect of what one action, good or bad, can, or I guess one action can change your life or change a scenario or create opportunity, good or bad, depending on what that tiny action is. But you had mentioned your buddy who had encouraged you to take it to the game, but even before that, had you not taken that magnet and put it on the belt in the first place, like that,
or had I not bought it, I was debating whether I wanted to spend $400 at a WWE event.
So like literally every single one of those moments played a chain reaction into this whole story.
Yeah. So basically what they did is they followed the story and they wanted me to come out there and just talk about my experience. Cause that was at the same time I was transitioning. I had just finished filming MasterChef. So basically they wanted me to come out and tell my story of how I took an idea or something I was passionate about and turned it into this big thing.
Right.
And I honestly think the people at MasterChef, they knew about the belt too. And so they saw that this guy who's passionate about wrestling, if he can take the same passion about food, how far can he go? Right. So that's the whole conversion of everything. And I just went up there, they gave me 7 minutes, and I basically told the play-by-play story of how everything happened with detail. And you can find it on just YouTube, Rami Rassas, and then you'll see one of my TED Talk come up. They titled it, not me, they titled it From Fan to Famous.
Which is a great title. I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. And, I was just thinking about this too when we were talking about earlier, how you should do the YouTube channel with cooking and all that stuff. And then obviously the wrestling passion. Why not make like something to where you have a match of the food and everything, and the winner gets the belt, and then they have to defend it?
Oh,
wow!
It just hit me because you were talking about it.
It's a great idea,
bro. You design the belts, so why not do something like that? Gosh dang it! I have to get this damn toy. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Right now?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean if we can't hear it that the microphone isn't picking it up, because we're just hearing the Skype audio right now.
He's scratching the crap out of this damn thing.
It's okay. You can go.
He just tipped it over. We're good.
Okay.
But so do you mean
play by play? But I think that would be something that would be interesting. Is like, obviously, we're gonna crown you as already the champ. So let's say you get like a couple, have like a battle or whatever. People are cooking it out. Kind of like, I guess, obviously you could say like the MasterChef kind of thing, that whole theory, I guess. But the winner gets the belt, and then they have to continue to keep defending it on your show.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's cool to put a wrestling spin on a food competition show, right? In terms of like, kind of like mixing some of those elements.
I think that would be a great show for the WWE network.
Exactly. Yeah.
They need some new original content.
Derek, can you make that happen?
I mean, I know a few people. Maybe I should reach out to them.
I mean, think about it. That's not a bad idea. I mean,
no, but I think it would be really legit. I mean, obviously, again, I know I continue to repeat myself, but you make the belts. You make them pretty damn good. Why not make like a food belt, and bam, you got yourself a contest?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I mean, I like that.
And especially with the marketing in Dallas, like you said already, there's so many restaurants. let's compete with the restaurants and see who gets the belt. They can show it off at their restaurant.
I got an idea. So you're kind of already playing into it. So Rami mentioned earlier that he has an app, right? He has a food app. It's called Plate Pulse.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the app right now.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. So, I'll let you explain it. But while he's saying that, maybe because you are dealing with restaurants here, and with the app, you're going to be going and interacting with them. What if you take the belt concept and you can award one of the restaurants in the app somehow, whatever the criteria is in your particular city, and maybe you just focus on, the top 10 cities that you're in or whatever at first, but the best restaurant based on whatever criteria in the app wins the belt. It gets the Plate Pulse belt as like an award that they can put on display, inside their restaurant until maybe the crown is taken away from them.
That would work with the theme. So let me tell you about my app. So when I had a restaurant, the food was never an issue. The food was always top notch. We would get great reviews about our food, but we'd also get bad reviews that mentioned good food, but bad service. And unfortunately, we didn't run it properly.
Again, like the reviews weren't about the food. It was like, okay, food could have been perfect, but the service itself, which there's really no one can, like the chef making the food can't control that.
So one review, it's 5 paragraphs long. It was on Yelp. Literally, I quote said, "Great food, strong drinks, bad service, gave me 1 star."
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now I get it, but that average those out. That's not a 1-star review. And there's a lot of people that go on sites like this, like Yelp or Google, and they're not going to read the 5 paragraphs. They're just going to look at the 1 star. Okay. And then I would get other reviews that would maybe mention other restaurants or I felt lacked credibility. So what I set out to do was design an app that focused on making sure each review was credible.
Right.
And so everything that was coming back to me was going to be somebody who was guaranteed to have been in my restaurant. Furthermore, I'm a type of guy that if I go to a restaurant, just because I know they have the best burger in town, everything else can be, bad on the menu, but I'll go there for that one burger.
You're going there for a specific item.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and the heartbeat of a restaurant is the food. So it makes each plate the pulse. So the app is Plate Pulse and it focuses on...
Is this on iPhone and Android and all that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It focuses on just rating each plate. And in order to rate each plate, you have to check into the restaurant and take a picture of the dish before you can leave it a review. Now that guarantees from the business owner's perspective that each dish, each review that's left is a credible review. It's somebody who was at my restaurant. And then from the restaurateur's perspective, the client, then they're going to a restaurant and they know what's being served there and the quality of each dish. Another benefit that my app has is that, let's say, for example, Derek, you're craving chicken fried steak. Okay. You can use the app. You can use Plate Pulse to actually search chicken fried steak and you'll see all the chicken fried chicken fried steak dishes, and you'll see the picture of the dish. You'll see their 5-star rating, and you'll see any comments left by the...
So like from all the different restaurants that serve chicken fried steak, you're going to know which is the best place to go to get that particular meal.
Exactly.
Right?
100%. 100%. And so the people who rate dishes and are active on the app earn Plate Pulse dollars. Okay? And the more plates you rate, the different levels you get. And I have a sports theme. So you start as a rookie, then you're a veteran, then you're all pro, and then you're a legend, and then you're the GOAT.
Nice.
So, right?
I like that.
So,
I like that.
And now, from what you suggested, because the restaurants have a voice too in my app. The restaurants have their own portal. So the restaurants that get the highest reviews, I could do, U.S. champion, TV champion, intercontinental champion, world champion, universal champion. It could work. It could work.
Oh yeah, brother! Bring on the title.
There you go. There you go.
Real quick, Derek, when you do the Hulk Hogan impression, you get really...
It's not really Hulk Hogan. It's very savagey.
Oh, sorry. Savagey. You get really handsy with it. Like your hands get really like involved.
Because I don't know what to do with them, brother.
But so Plate Pulse, You just go on either of the app stores, you download it, and then you sign up with Facebook or
sign up with Facebook or just sign up with the email, basically. And this is an app that I launched about 6 months ago, and I'm working on perfecting it in this market. And I think like I said, Dallas has the highest restaurants per capita in the country. So
great place to launch it.
It's going to work here. And there's nothing out there that exists like this. This is an app that gives people direct connection to good plates of food. And also, I don't just think about the people that are going to eat. It's the business owner's perspective. You're the restaurateur, the restaurant owner, the chef is getting good constructive feedback. Another thing that my app does. So my man over here, Chef Boyardee, he cooks, right?
I do.
So my app is built and designed not just for your big restaurant chains, but for your mom and pops, your food trucks, and your street vendors. I'm worldwide, right? So I have hundreds of reviews in Asia and in South America and the Middle East. And what my app allows people like a lot of those people, the countries that have food trucks or carts to do is you can build your restaurant profile in the app, and then our app uses Google Places. And when you search restaurants on our app, not only will you see everything that populates on Google Places, but you'll see the location you created. And what that does,
I can create my own restaurant here at my house if I wanted to.
And you can upload all your dishes and you can start to develop your own flavor profile. Now, we approve everything, but what that does, it allows the food cart that's in Clyde Warren Park or the food truck that's in Clyde Warren Park on a Sunday to have their location be there so people can actually rate their food right then and there. And then that same food truck that during the week is going to business offices can update their app to let people know where they're at, and they can consistently get ratings on their food. And then if you're a chef, you can build your flavor, your Plate Pulse resume. So you can start developing your own portfolio of your dishes. So it allows the flexibility and mobility to these people that are not big brick and mortar locations. It gives a voice to the 7 million food trucks and carts that are around the world.
Right. And lets them still maintain the mobility of it. I think the whole focus on the review with the plate is pretty genius, just based on what you said as a, former restaurant owner. Those reviews are everything and it's not just restaurants. I mean, I'm the guy that checks out like every review on Amazon before I go purchase a product. That's just me, I want to make sure I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and I'm going to be excited with what I get. So from the consumer side, from the person going to the restaurant, I think it's great to have that, like you said, that credibility brought back to the review of the plate and not necessarily the experience. Because if I own the restaurant and the hostess or the waiter or whatever staff member, the bartender is having a bad day and they say something that upsets the customer, it really sucks that that's going to end up on the review when that has nothing to do with the food that the chef cooked or really just any other element of the experience that they had. So it's all right, let's leave that stuff for Yelp, but your app is specific to how good or bad was the food.
So what you do is you check in, you take a picture of the dish, and then you're rating it based on Michelin star categories, 1 through 5, 10 categories, right? It's not an app that's going to allow you to sit there and voice your opinion about things other than food. It's going to give the restaurateur specific feedback. So if the texture is off on every dish, every time this dish is rated, then I know that I need to adjust that dish.
Right.
So, and another thing is for example, when I go into a restaurant for the first time, I'm very meticulous about what I order. I don't want to make a mistake. I want to either order everything or I want to order the best thing.
Right.
And so many times I've been disappointed by the recommendations of the waiter. 9 times out of 10, they haven't tried that stuff. So what Plate Pulse allows you to do, you go into a restaurant, you can search by dish or by restaurant, and then you pull it up and you'll see all their dishes there. And you'll see a picture, you'll see the rating, and then you'll see the comments. There's 3 types of people that go out to eat. There's the people that look at the visual and that looks great, I'm going to eat it. There's the people that are going to look at, that's 4.5 stars, I'm going to order it, or I'm going to read the comment that they left.
Right.
So it's an app for everybody really when it comes to food.
It sounds like a win-win. I mean, for everyone involved. So, I mean, that's awesome. I
definitely agree. I think that's a sick app, to be honest. I think it's awesome that you did that.
Derek, you going to download it after this?
Actually, I've already started that. Thank you.
Oh, very nice. Well, what we will do. Hey.
Some of us go ahead and do that.
So what we'll do is we will include a link in the YouTube video, but then we'll also do a little post on the Instagram page, just putting it out there so that the people listening, if they haven't already gone and downloaded it, they can go and click the link and do that themselves.
Now, keep in mind, so, this app, I do have ratings all around the world, but in some markets, it's not because it's only launched 6 months ago, there's maybe not as many ratings in one market as there are in others, but I would love for everybody to help me grow the Plate Rater community. And the benefit that you get is every time you rate a dish, you accumulate dollars. Every time you like somebody's dish, you accumulate money. Every time you share a dish, you get money. So if you're in a market or you're in a city that you look on the app and there's no dishes rated, doesn't mean you don't benefit. You go into a restaurant, you become the first person to rate that dish, and then you start accumulating Plate Pulse dollars that you can use future meals. So if you're in an area
that's what I was just about to add or ask was, so if there's a place like, for instance, I'm in San Francisco, I go to Walnut Creek, I go to this restaurant, it's not even on there, I get to put it in there?
You get to
put what you're saying?
Yeah, you can rate the dish that you had. But what I'm doing is, and I'm launching this in Dallas, that we have restaurant, we launch restaurants, right? So I'll go to, Nick and Sam's and I'll sign them up by going in there and getting all their dishes on the app, regardless of whether anybody's been there rated before. But if I haven't gotten to that restaurant yet, which, more than likely in San Francisco, I haven't yet because we're just building it in Dallas, then you would be just able to rate the dish that you ordered. And then you would be the first person to rate that dish. But you start accumulating dishes for that restaurant. And then you as a person, as a rater, are going to accumulate dollars in the app. Again, you get money for rating a dish. You get money for liking other people's dishes. It's basically an Instagram for food. You can see hot and trending and you can like dishes.
It's a good way.
And then also for sharing to social media, you get money as well. And your money just builds up till you can use it on another meal next time you go out.
I like it, man. I like it. That's awesome. Congrats on the gig.
And then what we'll do to take this full circle is when we have our cook-off, our chef-off between Derek and I, we will use the app to rate whose plate
our dishes.
Well, yeah, we'll rate them. We'll see who has the higher rating. How about that? Well, actually, the cook-off will be sponsored by Plate Pulse, the app.
Absolutely.
It'll be a Plate Pulse sponsored chef challenge. And
I like it. We're going to make it happen.
You're going to make a belt for the occasion, and I'm going to win that belt, and it's going to be a great day.
That's the first battle.
I'm not going to even talk shit because the silent one is always the one to watch out for.
Yeah.
Silent but deadly.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
That's
Dutch oven, baby.
What's crazy is that's 2 podcasts
Hey,
in a row.
he has
silent but deadly.
I mean, Dutch oven. I mean, that's
the thing about Dutch oven though is
I've already got the cooking name.
Yeah, the cooking name.
Read it and weep.
The cooking name, or what most people associate it with, is the fart under the bed covers technique. Yeah,
is that what
more people show me the pictures of the pot.
Yeah, maybe if we
Dutch oven.
Maybe if we were like in the early 1900s, but probably
or maybe in like the late 2000s. Yeah,
late 2000s. We're pretty sure we're in the early 2000s.
We're so in the early. But yeah, you know what I meant. It's late in our lives.
Well, I mean, this has been a pretty solid show. I mean, in my opinion, we are coming to a little bit of a wrap up moment here, but I don't know if there's anything else, Rami, that you want to mention, or Derek, that you want to talk about or highlight. But I personally am just stoked to have had Rami on the show because, like I said at the beginning, jack of all trades. I do want to highlight, we don't have to go into it, but you do run the number one
absolutely
in the country. Go ahead and
so
catch that.
Another one of my nicknames is Maserati.
Yeah, Rami Maserati.
Yeah, so basically,
who gave you that nickname?
I'm pretty sure it was you.
That was me.
Yeah. But I mean, so the way I live in these things, the way I live in these things that I do, I'm blessed to work for a great company that allows me the opportunity to run a successful business venture, and then also the freedom to kind of do some of these other things. But yeah, Essence Maserati in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We're the number one Maserati dealership volume wise in the country, basically, and number one certified pre-owned dealer. But I will tell you this, and I sold a Maserati to somebody who plays for a pitcher for the New York Mets. Maybe we got to get a Maserati for a pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. I don't know, on two coasts. But at the end of the day, whoever it is, whether it's Derek Holland or White T over here, I'm going to give anybody the
maybe
best.
A sponsor drop of a Maserati could drop in there.
I mean, we could work something out.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get the official Secret Handshake podcast Maserati.
But there's no place in the country.
It'll be all logoed out.
Yep.
Where is it? What's the drink sponsor?
It'll be our promo vehicle.
What's the drink sponsor?
Oh, LaCroix.
LaCroix and Maseratis. That's a good combo, right? But no, if
We
anybody
don't know what the wine was that you're drinking, so we got to use a Maserati instead.
it was probably Italian wine.
We'll find out. And we'll put that in the comments as well, or in the caption.
But anybody who comes by and buys a Maserati and mentions the Secret Handshake podcast, guaranteed going to get the best deal in the country. No joke. I will not be undersold.
Well, you heard it first. If you're in the market for a Maserati and you're listening to this show right now, go head over to.
I will sell it to you an invoice, and I will show you the invoice.
There we go.
Wow, look at that! You heard it right there. Just give promo code Secret Handshake Podcast.
There you go.
Oh, and then one last thing is Rami didn't actually realize, and I think this will be a thing that grows as the show grows, but he didn't realize that there is in fact a secret handshake that he's going to.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, when he told me about that, I'm like, oh shit, the secret handshake.
You don't just give a name and not have it.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not like you're going to tell us like, hey, I'm going to cook this food and call it something, but then not even cook it. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So he's pretty stoked, to say the least, on that.
I've never had a secret handshake
in his life.
I've been doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
That was almost included, but we didn't give any details because our handshake is actually
top secret. But yeah, so this has been great, man. We really appreciate you coming on. I know Derek does.
I can actually, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but
well, you did.
Actually say
did.
This
it's
is
okay.
really our first show so far. Well, it's a good thing my Skype's going slow. The internet's bad, but I will say this is the first time that I can actually say in our shows. I know there's only been 5. But we didn't even actually get through all the topics.
I know.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean,
because that goes to show how good you are. Like, I mean, bro, you killed it. We had an awesome show. Like, this was a very entertaining show. We're not worthy. I mean, that's Wayne's World for you, hands down. Seriously, you killed it. This was awesome. I mean, especially to talk wrestling, everything. It was definitely an honor to have you on this show with us and help us keep this thing going. That's obviously what we want. Again, I know I'm not there. I know T's there, so he can take care of it. But seriously, thank you so much for jumping on here with us. It really means a lot to both of us.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, I was honored to be a part of it, and I felt comfortable. I didn't even feel like we were doing anything other than just a couple of guys or three guys. Okay. Maybe too much.
3 guys.
But no,
he keeps forgetting about you. It's me.
Yeah, just hanging out, having a good time, chatting it up.
Don't forget about Hulk Hogan, man.
Hulk
Hogan. Okay.
But hey, no, when you're in town, we're gonna do the same thing. We'll record it. We'll do it around dinner, and we'll do the cook-off between y'all two with the belt.
What would be great would be when we do the next one. When you're back in town, Derek, you should cook first. We'll do the cooking first, and we can start the podcast off while eating the meal and kind of talk about how
Even
epic
better.
and awesome.
Even better, bro. We're going to have the mics that come with us. We're going to have an actual live podcast cook-off all together, all in one.
Oh, a live stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be a live stream. I didn't mean to say live.
Well, we could.
What I meant was like, we could do that too. We could actually have that in there, but we still record it. It'll play, obviously. Right. But I think what we would do is have the mics with us so we can talk and cook at the same time and have the whole thing going. Because I think what we really want to do too is I want to learn some things from him. I'd like to experience it with him too, watching him cook like firsthand. Like me and you could just sit there and basically be like the ESPN announcers
right, commentate
of cooking. Yeah, and just commentate the whole thing. Here comes the salt, and he sprinkles it in for a nice splash.
Oh yeah,
have fun with it.
Hey, and I've just been working with the torch. I just brought out the flamethrower now, so I'm getting
shit.
Yeah.
I did see that on your Instagram, by the way. I saw it. The torch picture was pretty sick.
It's getting serious. But Derek, why don't you go ahead and hit him with the official sign-off?
Well, first off, I just want to say again,
because you made me
from
start
both
the
of
show.
us-
You made me start the show, so you're gonna end the show.
I know. I gotta say, you know, I really appreciate you coming on here, being a part of this. Rami, this was awesome. You definitely showed up. You showed out. You killed it for us. But you know, all good things have to come to an end. So, without further ado, it's time to say goodbye.
Oh,
And with that, I leave you with goodbye.
Bye.
goodbye. Thanks for having me on.
Rami, you're not supposed to whisper.
The gift of love.
Shut up so I can say this part. Goodbye. Bye.